Make sure it's all Gucci.
We're in the green. Hey, there we go.
Wait. Alright, hello again, humans.
Give it a couple of minutes. Well, seconds.
I was going to say minutes.
Nah, you just gotta make sure it's...
It seems fine, babe.
We seem fine. You might want to ask your brother if he can hear us.
Yeah, sure, I'll drop him a message. Hang on.
Talk.
Message him. Human, can you hear us?
We've got one viewer.
Let's face it, it's probably Terry.
It probably is.
He says, I need to load. Yeah, like as soon as Taz confirms he can hear us, then I'll
Wicked.
do the intro. Just waiting for him to message me. It's just gonna be like an awkward 2 minutes at the start of the stream because Thierry's PC is...
Our viewer has left.
Thierry's PC is slow as hell. Am I like the only person who has like a decently functioning computer at this point?
There we go. Sorry, I was having a bit of a blonde moment there.
He says he can hear us.
Wicked, okay. I guess we're ready to go then.
Okay, cool. Right. You done doing what you're doing, or?
Hang on. Yep. Let's just send in a mate a link in case he wants to pop in.
Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a minute then I was like, where the fuck? Alright. Hello.
Hello, humans. Right. We're going to get into this pretty quickly, but just a quick intro. We know it's been quite a while since we streamed.
Hello, gay guys. Hello.
What is it? Bitches, bros, and non-binary hoes.
I was doing a Family Guy bit.
Yeah, bitches, bros, and non-binary hoes. Okay. Hello, bitches and bros and non-binary hoes. This, as you can, is quite predictable from two queers who stream. It's going to be a pride stream.
Yeah, it's all about the gay stuff tonight.
We're just shoving our gayness in your face, and you're going to have to deal with it.
It's the agenda.
It is. It's the agenda, if you will.
Nice one. Wasn't expecting that.
Off the cuff shit.
I hope I get so eloquent soon.
I'm
not up with the puns yet.
You'll get there.
I need to get the jitters out and then I'll be fine.
Yeah, she'll get there in a minute. But yeah, so what...
Neurodivergence is a drug.
True. Just running through a quick, what's going to happen. It's largely going to be, at the start, we're going through some queer history, like history of pride and LGBT persecution. And once we're done with that...
You make that sound fun.
It's the way I talk. I make a lot of things sound fun. It's really weird.
It'll be good.
But yeah, so we're going to go through that so people can actually learn some stuff about gay people rather than just...
Yeah, I mean, some of you watching will know this history like the back of your hand because, some of you might either be queer or be very into the academic nature of history and how it's woven into other things.
Or just a really good eye.
But we hope to get some of you in well, for maybe not
live, but later.
The views we attract, hopefully some people might learn a thing or two tonight. So that'll be the thing that we can hopefully pay forward to the gay community.
The aim is to teach.
Well, the LGBTQIA.
QIA plus community.
Sorry.
It is quite a long acronym.
I'm having a really bad moment again. I'm autistic, so sometimes I'm not that good at publicly speaking, but it'll be alright.
She is autistic.
I will get there in the end. I tend to have a weird half an hour and then I'm fine.
Yeah. She says this literally
streams.
Every stream, so
every stream it's always like this.
Literally every stream. I don't think it helps that we had a cigarette right before starting, so
yeah, plus it's really fucking hot.
Nicky Rush, yes.
The temperature is messing with my head.
Yeah, random side note before we get into the pride stuff, this heat wave is killing us and it's not okay. Save the gays from this heat, please, especially us fat bitches, okay? For real.
Okay.
Just a random PSA. But yeah, okay. So after we're done going through all the queer history and things like that, Yumi has found a really cool documentary on intersexuality.
Stay tuned later. I found this really cool documentary. Hopefully the copyright holders will not mind me streaming it and we'll be reacting to it. And it's about New Zealand's intersex community.
Which, as you might be able to see from our thumbnail...
made for and by intersex people of New Zealand.
It's good shit.
So,
but yeah, as you might be able to see from our thumbnail, we do have the new pride flag that dropped literally only like 2 days ago, which does include the intersex flag.
I've got to admit, I'm getting used to it. I'm kind of, some of it, like, the colours clash a bit, but to be honest, I'm of the opinion that I'd rather these groups be included than not included. But I do think they maybe could have done the design a bit differently and still included all those groups. But I mean, I'm not a flag designer, so what the fuck do I know? But, you know.
Yeah, was it like vexology or something?
Should we start by talking about the thumbnail and who these people are? You might recognise 2 of them at the top. The one on the left is my beautiful partner Dion.
Aww.
So who are you?
I am Dion. I am the Wren of Wren Rhodes. I am the more. I'm not going to say more academic. We're differently academic.
You definitely are. You've got your fucking pips. You've got your badges. You know. You've been to uni.
I'm the scientifically academic one.
I barely got out of college alive, so you know. And you might see me on the right there. I'm Mayumi.
The Rhodes.
Just your basic average trans woman. It's probably better for you to tell them who I am, because you.
Yeah.
I don't really think I'm really anything in particular. So the other people tend to know me better than I know myself.
Yeah,
so,
that's kind of how it is. But yeah, that cute little picture was a picture that I took of her at Christmas holding a cute little t-shirt that I got her. It's a ghost t-shirt, which some of you might have seen the ghost videos on the channel if you haven't watched them, because they're awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I spent ages on that.
Yeah,
in fact, the Christmas before, when that picture was taken, I spent the entire time editing the last bit of that video. And if you might remember, the first stream we ever did was the result of me getting pissed off because YouTube kept like copyright claiming it. Although I can't really blame YouTube as a entity as much as I have to blame
companies.
Who the fuck was it? Universal Music.
Oh yeah.
Group. Yeah. I mean, you lot are probably shudder just hearing that name. It's like, oh, them again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've gotten better at editing since then. I've figured out that you have to break sections of media up in like 15-second chunks in order to avoid like that kind of thing happening, and I didn't at the time. But I really think, nonetheless, that what I did was fair use and it should have been fine. But unfortunately, they gave me hell putting that together. So it used to be 4 separate parts, but then I had to smash it into one big hour-long epic. And now it's up for the enjoyment of anyone who wants to learn about Ghost BC.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Good band. But that's not really about who I am.
No, it's not.
You're talking about Ghost now.
Yeah, no, this is a sidetrack. As for who Yumi is, she's just, as she said, pretty average trans woman. She's, you know, the more historically inclined person, the more politically inclined person somewhat.
Carry on, sorry.
What are you fucking about with that?
No, I heard a strange noise, and when I hear strange noises, it's never good.
It's just because it's a bit hot, so my fan's having to work really hard. But yeah, so she's the more sort of politically inclined person, the one who knows a lot more about history and...
What is this?
You clicked on it.
I am sorry. I'm ruining your flow.
You really are. What did you do?
I don't know. It's just popped up, and I'm not very happy with it.
I have... There.
It's very disconcerting.
Don't touch it. Just don't touch the computer. Oh my god. Yeah, just saying, we're using my computer today, so she's like not totally up to speed with how my computer works. But yeah, so as she said, pretty average trans woman. She likes a game. She's fucking obsessed with music, like really obsessed.
One day we will do streams about music.
We really should.
I will take us through the history of music from all over the world.
She has an extensive
made
Power
by all
Rangers
different
collection.
types of people. Yeah, well, fuck it. Let's just go straight to that.
Yeah.
Power Rangers.
We're going through a little bit by bit.
I've been trying to piece my childhood back together for a long time because my childhood wasn't so rosy. I'm sure we'll get into that later.
Probably.
But pretty much I wasn't really left with anything of my family that I could like hold on to. So instead I've replaced that with basically material possessions, and Power Rangers was a big thing for me when I was a kid. It was the only thing I could cling to, while certain people in my family were putting me through the ringer a bit. So I just kind of gave into that, and you know how these things go with collecting. It's like one thing turns into two, two turns into five, five turns into 10, and before you know it, you've got a whole corner in your flat dedicated to nothing but Power Rangers. And I don't regret it, but you know, at the same time, if I could see myself now, I probably took a bit. My younger self, that being.
But yeah, generally, you're the person who's into the movies, into the music, into the video games a bit more than me.
Yeah, when it comes to Wren Rhodes as a concept, because we're kind of pop culture and politics and queer stuff.
And science.
And science. Dion's very much the queer science chick, you know. And I'm the pop culture sort of punk sort of.
You're more grunge.
I'm very political, but not. I'm not exactly like a wordsmith, as you've all gathered. But politically, I'm very kind of charged. I tend to not know when to shut up when I get going when it comes to politics.
Honestly, I'm thinking in future as an idea for us. You know those like debates and conversations we have when we're not live on stream and you're really eloquent. I want to secretly record you one day.
Those things only fucking happen when we're not live.
Yeah, I want to secretly record you one day to show people actually how eloquent you can be.
Put me on live and I just start jittering, I get sweaty, I feel like I'm just letting myself down all the time. And I'm pretty sure most people who are new to streaming have that exact problem. You know, that exact preconception about themselves. But you get used to it, and I'm hoping... Because we're only on episode 5, we've got long years ahead of us. We've got a big plan, and I'm hoping one day I can stream just as easily as all the people I watch on YouTube, all of the classic channels, you know. Because I want to be up there with them, not so much in sub count, but in like comfortability. You know, I just want to be able to turn the computer on, stream like there's nothing to it, and even someday I'd like to have the nerve to kind of stream on my own, because I know Dion sometimes will be at work and I'll just be like, oh, I really want to talk about this, and it'd be nice to be able to do that without my neurodivergence kind of ruining it for me, you know, dragging me down all the time. Anyway, we're kind of going off on a tangent. I can't really talk about that all night.
We've wholly introduced ourselves, but as for the other people in the thumbnail,
yeah, we've got
from left to right.
Let's do a thing actually in chat. Who's in chat? I know that there's well, there was 2 of you. Now there's 1. Where have you gone?
I think.
Where have you gone? Come back, please. Come back.
Thierry at a pump might know one of those people.
Go on, Thierry.
Thierry, do you know any of the people in the thumbnail other than me and you?
From left to right, I'm pretty. One of them's very recent, so you'll probably know the guy with the red hair. Yeah. Yeah, Taz, we know you're here.
You zoned out. Bruh, we're asking you as like a fun challenge, can you name any of the people in the thumbnail aside from Yumi and I?
Yeah, you know me, and you know your sister. Is that 2 gendered sister? You know your relative.
Sister, sibling, brother, I don't care.
Yeah. I know some, but not the names. Okay, well that's good enough.
That's close enough.
Okay, so Dion's taking the painstaking effort of writing down long paragraphs about all of these people. Well, except for Lil Nas X.
Actually,
you all know about.
I've not done that because we're going to be doing that off the cuff. The things I've been writing is about all the history and stuff.
Oh, the history. Okay, well I can illuminate some of you.
Yeah.
Although I might need a bit of help with these black and white guys, because.
Yeah, we're going to be pulling that up.
The guys in black and white, like lighting that is not like they're both white guys, but you know.
We're going to be pulling the information up about them as we go.
So right on the far left, just below Dion's head. By the way, Abby just messaged you on Facebook. So I don't know.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, we've got Alan Turing on the far left.
Yes.
Far left. The pun completely intended.
Next to him
Alan Turing is the famous code breaker during World War II. If it wasn't for his skills and some would say like mental issues, because they propelled him basically. He was one of them where he was not very good socially, but that kind of made him a monster when it comes to like knowing how computers work and how people can think subconsciously. You know, like he was a good at cracking people and codes in a way, because he could analyse things on a deeper level. So without his skills, World War II probably would have been raging on for another 2 or 3 years. But yeah, he was notoriously homosexual. Quite a private guy, but he definitely had the vibe about him. Unfortunately, after for all his troubles during World War II, he was hounded to death by the British government afterwards. They harassed him to no end, put him on... didn't they... put him on some drug that basically
they chemically castrated
him. Chemical castration, and which basically
he got so depressed he basically
he killed himself, and he posthumously was apologised to by the Queen, but a bit too fucking late now.
Yeah, he was given an official pardon literally only a couple of years ago.
So yeah. So,
next to
Alan Turing. Next to Alan Turing.
Next to Alan is William.
I will get the thing up, and I want you to cover this guy. Let me just load my Twitter up because I've got the info. So apologies, I can't remember this off by heart, by the way. I only learned about this guy a couple of weeks back.
True. I learned about them to
Because my brain's working. Isn't this great? I love it. I love it. It's good. Doesn't always happen, you know. I'm kind of ruining it now because I keep talking. Stop talking. Carry on talking.
It's like one of those things. It's like, you know, when you apologise to someone and you say sorry and they're like, stop saying sorry, and then you say sorry for saying sorry.
Don't say balls. I said balls.
Sorry, that's my phone just going off. I really need to mute that. Hang on.
Oh god, I'm having it's not even a blonde moment, senior moment. How do I get to my profile now? It's doing a weird thing. Like, Twitter keeps updating itself and changing the layout, and it's really... Oh, okay. No, I got it. It's good.
I like how I literally pulled up about him before you did.
Fuck off.
Okay, so
No, hang on. I want to find the quote at least. And
I remember the quote.
Silence is golden, isn't it? It's really quiet, awkward. There we go. Oh yeah, great timing. Thank you. 15%. Okay. Willem Arendeus is the guy's name, and you can go deeper than that.
Yeah, I remember because I was literally just reading about him like this morning, so it's still relatively fresh in my memory.
I have failed you. I have failed my people.
Sorry, honey. But yeah, so Willem, like Willem Dafoe.
It's not William Dafoe.
It's
Arendeus.
It's not William Dafoe either, it's Willem. I think it's because my surname used to be William.
Good night, everybody.
I think it's because my surname used to be Williams, so whenever and also, like, I'm low-key really dyslexic, so...
I hope I didn't blow anyone's ears off, by the way, by shouting that then.
Anyway, right, so...
I have no idea how sensitive this mic can be.
Okay, so Willem, and how I would pronounce it, Arondius, was a gay Dutch artist, openly gay, had a boyfriend, nobody was questioning it.
Explicitly so.
Yeah, he was also very anti-Nazi.
Raging homosexual.
He was very anti-Nazi during, obviously, World War II.
As is the only way to be.
Yeah, he was essentially forging false identification cards for Jewish people in order to protect them, to hide their identity.
The Nazis would have had a big office where they could, like, have this big tick sheet of, like, oh, they're Jewish, why don't we take them to the camp? And these would be, like, lists in their thousands of people. And he got the bright idea of, like, forging them so that the Nazis couldn't find certain people.
But yeah, unfortunately...
The Nazis got really good at this, though.
Unfortunately, the Amsterdam Public Record Office would have, as you were saying, had a record of everyone who was Jewish, so false IDs wasn't going to erase the already existing IDs. So he had a brilliant idea. Him, his boyfriend, and a couple other people dressed up as police in order to gain entry to the Amsterdam Public Record Office and blew it up to destroy the record.
How's that for gay?
So he unfortunately was arrested within a week of that happening, and he was later executed, but his last words were, "Let it be known that homosexuals are not cowards."
If we got, like, one of them, you know, those foghorns, like, you know, the meme thing.
The meme sound.
That should have sounded after he said those words, you know.
Yeah,
just like,
the meme sound.
Yeah. Because he, you know, definitely, like, people might have thought he was a bitch, but he certainly didn't die as one.
True.
That was, like, based as hell. So, yeah.
Next is Sylvia Rivera, who I don't think you actually
isn't that part of the queer history bit? Are we going over?
We're going from left to right, aren't we?
No, but I mean, isn't she included in the big bit you ripped?
No.
Okay,
no,
well,
because she's in the gay icons.
Tell me about... I don't know much about Sylvia Rivera, actually. That might sort of get me cancelled, but I'm sorry, I don't know her.
But okay, so Sylvia was basically an American gay libertarian, trans rights activist, all of that, back in 60s and 70s. They were born in, like, the 50s, so...
Okay, very young then.
Yeah, they were quite young. In 1951 they were born, and they were massively involved in Stonewall and stuff, so they were quite young when that was happening.
Like teenage rebel, fair enough.
And so, yeah, they participated in tons of demonstrations for the Gay Liberation Front. They identified as a drag queen. So
how do you identify? I thought identity, like that wording of identity was only for like you know, things that are like, I don't know how to word this, but like drag queen is like a more of a culture of people that like, it's like an entertainment sort of culture.
I'm
Whereas
assuming
being trans is like an identity as such.
Well, would you?
Because with drag queens, it's not so much of an identity because it's like a double life, isn't it?
But would you consider like being a cross-dresser an identity?
Not really, because again, it's like something you do to have fun on the weekends. I'm not saying it's no less valid. I'm just saying like I thought it'd be a different area than being like trans, because you live that your entire life. That's something you take on and you take into all areas of your life. Whereas being a drag queen, you can kind of not so much hide it, but it doesn't have to get into every area of your life. You have more freedom over where you can have that. You know. I don't know. I'm not going to bitch about it. If that's an identity, then so be it. But it's, you know, yeah, I've kind of dug myself a hole. You can carry on there. I like to just clear things up where I can.
But yeah, there's actually a lot of controversy surrounding her. There are people who, because she claimed to be at Stonewall, there are people who claim she wasn't there. It's all a bit complicated, but either way, she's still like a mad activist, and she was really close friends with the person we're going to talk about next, which is Marsha P. Johnson.
MPJ. Mad lad. I say mad lad. Do we have mad lady? Is mad lady a thing? Right? Because mad lad.
Would it be mad lass?
Mad lass. Perfect. Because with that, the mad lad thing is for like, it's an internet term for like anyone who basically is.
It's a bit mental.
Based as hell and does some crazy thing.
Like,
can
I have my
well, not always based actually, because you get some mad lads that are just evil, like, you know, just absolute warlords, you know.
And you get some who are just
so
like
I think
chavvy people.
Mad lad is reserved for people that do extraordinary things, whether they be good or bad. People that just have no chill, you know. And I thought that included women as well. But I guess mad lad, in context of a transsexual, is wrong, because obviously they're not a lad, are they? It's a heavily gendered term, I think. So yeah, mad lass. Either way, she's based as hell, and she is... It's definitely, for Stonewall at least, one of the most important figures you will ever hear about. And Stonewall, as you know, is 90% of most of queer history, as far as we remember it now, in the modern world at least. That's kind of where it all kicked off. Without Stonewall, most of the things we cherish nowadays would not exist. You know, the concept of community and how Pride is run would not function the way it does. Acceptance certainly would be years behind.
But yeah, in terms of like, you know, activism and stuff, Marsha was heavily involved in the actual Stonewall riots, there, throwing bricks, you know.
Well, I mean, this is interesting because everyone thinks that Stonewall, well, not everyone, but a lot of people think Stonewall happened in sort of like a vacuum. One night it all just happened perfectly, it all kind of coalesced into a thing. Not actually true. The police had been raiding gay bars, or bars that they thought were queer but actually weren't. Pretty much anywhere where they thought people were having a bit too much fun. And they'd been doing it for ages. It wasn't like a new thing. And for the most part, the queer community at the time were quite sort of afraid to act, you know, to like do something about it. A lot of them would just kind of go along with it because they had no other choice, or you know, you can't really judge them until you've been there yourself and you've had the truncheon on your head. Or you've been in the back of the police van, you know, it'd probably be very intimidating. But no, one night, Marsha P. Johnson just simply was like, no, we've had enough, we're not going to take it. And thankfully, a few people around her stuck with her and said, okay, tonight is where it ends. We're going to actually do something about it. And even if we end up arrested, at least we can say we did something. For once, we didn't let tonight end the exact same way that it had every single night before. Because Marsha was not new to this kind of intimidation from the police. She'd seen it every night. You know, this wouldn't have been just a surprising night for her, you know, a crazy night out. This was like normal. This was like every day. And the reason she took the action she did is because she was sick of that being every single night. She wanted a night for once where things were normal and boring and just, you know, where you could just go out with your mates drinking and have fun. But the police didn't want it that way, so unfortunately, sometimes violence is the answer. Sorry, YouTube.
Okay. But no, so she was also one of the co-founders of the, what's the group called? Gay Liberation Front, one of the co-founders of that,
Yep.
and along with Sylvia Rivera, who we previously mentioned, they founded the activist group known as STAR, which stands for the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries.
That's a hell of a mouthful.
Yeah, this is why they abbreviate
I love it though, STAR. Like, it just sounds kind of sexy, doesn't it?
That's why they abbreviate it to STAR. But yeah, they aimed at helping like homeless drag queens, gay youth, and transgender women particularly.
So is that all on Marsha P. Johnson as an activist, and particularly Stonewall? Because we'll go on Stonewall in much higher detail later on. But it's just important to like highlight her particular place in that on that scene, in that timeline. Should we go on about the Warhol thing, or is that later as well?
We can do that now, or we can do that later.
How do we have Andy Warhol, another well-known homosexual? How does that connect with Marsha P. Johnson?
Well, she was actually a model for him.
As many downtrodden people were models for Andy Warhol. But Andy Warhol, as you'll find out in a second, was not that great. Like, he was a complex guy.
Yeah, essentially...
He said a lot of crap, but he never backed a lot of it up, as you'll see.
And there's also claimed
to be a supporter of the poor people, but didn't give him any of the fucking money.
Yeah, there's also claims that a lot of the work he did, such as doing a mural for Marsha P. Johnson, he didn't give her like any money for using her face. Basically.
At the time where that particular art piece of Marsha P. Johnson was raking in money, it made absolute tons for the time. Marsha P. Johnson was still homeless on the streets. So, I reckon Andy Warhol could have maybe, cut her a deal, 50% would have been, that would have been a start. But he didn't do that, so...
Yeah, so...
I found that quite surprising, because I always thought Andy Warhol was misunderstood, but frankly, after hearing that, he's a bit of a prick. I thought he was a bit of a prick before, actually. A bigger prick than I thought. However you want to put that together.
I'm going to leave the next person up to you, because you know far more about them than I do.
Laura Jane Grace. You might see the punky-looking brunette there, in between Lil Nas X and Marsha P. If you've heard of Against Me, a phenomenal punk band back in the day, very leftist. Potatoes, Rice and Bread is the first song I heard, and it blew my head off. Mind you, back when I heard that was pre-transition. I'm not going to speak the dead name, but a lot of you will. If I told you it, you would know who that was. Because Against Me got really big, even before the transition happened. But Laura Jane Grace did transition in 2014, about the same time as a lot of the sort of culture war as we know it now, in regards to, like, we had the election coming up, and there was a lot of, like, things got really divided very quickly. The internet was not a good place to be. Yeah. Caitlyn Jenner popped up out of nowhere and decided to transition, and she wasn't the best role model, really. She wasn't the best figurehead of our movement, because she would not...
She does not represent the whole community.
Well, it's because she represented the very people that wanted her dead, basically. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. She made excuses for the wrong people, the same way I used to back in the day.
We're calling Caitlyn Jenner a pick-me, and it's not incorrect.
Whereas Laura Jane Grace at the same time came out and transitioned and was basically everything that Caitlyn Jenner wasn't. She would advocate for the community.
True representation.
And wrote a whole album about it. What's the album name again? Transgender Dysphoria Blues. That's it. That's the album title. True Trans Soul Rebel. Good song. But yeah, I thoroughly advise. Is that a word? Whatever. I strongly recommend Against Me. You can just listen to all their music, basically. The band. Don't feel like put off by the stuff before she transitioned, just because, because you'll actually find there's a lot of hidden messages in the older songs that kind of foreshadow Laura wanting to break out of her gendered coil, as it were. If you listen to a song called The Ocean, she pretty much tells you in the lyrics, if I was born a girl, my mum would call me Laura. And back in the day, everyone just kind of went right over their heads. They didn't know. But nowadays, we do know. And when we listen to that song now, it brings tears to my eyes sometimes, because of how frank it is and how sudden,
Yeah, I'm not like a massive fan of the band, but when I listen
To
to their
think
music, I
to
cry.
think that Laura basically spent another 10 years locked inside herself, unable to escape. Because think about it, you're a massive band, you've got tons of fans, and you're trans, and you're like, fuck, I want to come out, I want to be myself, but you know, how can I keep my fame? People are, you know, I'll have people throwing shit at me from all sides. The band might just go kaput because the record label aren't going to be happy with having a trans person on the label. It was real shit like that. It would be terrifying to have all that responsibility to deal with, but still feel like you're letting yourself down. And thankfully, Laura basically sided with the ideation of like, fuck everything else. This is me. You know, if I'm gonna do nothing else, I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be true to myself, if nobody else. And frankly, she didn't care if the band would suffer for it. And fortunately, the band didn't suffer for it. In fact, the fan base is bigger than ever. And the fans are lovely. I've met a few. And yeah, so Laura's having a great time, and we're here for it.
What's the name of that documentary she did on YouTube?
Oh, fuck. I've got no idea. It wasn't called Fuck, by the way.
But no, if you look up Laura Jane Grace documentary on YouTube, you'll probably find all the episodes for it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a really good documentary. Again, full of like really dark moments. Graphic content warning for stuff like suicide and drug dependency. There was also a book. She wrote a book, and I'm only going to say the title of this once, because, you know, it was called Tranny. And it's a great book. You should read it, because it's basically Laura's journals, all compiled into one, and it takes you through the struggle of like being a young punk living in, where was it again? Somewhere in Florida. It was a while ago when I read it.
Do you want me to Google it?
If you could. But growing up in like a conservative place where things hadn't moved on that much, you know, quite conservative. And she was quite anti-authoritarian from day one, so obviously there would be clashes with the police on a regular basis. I'm still trying to remember it. But yeah, it takes you... Gainesville, Florida. So it takes you through all of that from when she was just a little kid, you know, watching Madonna on the TV and thinking, that could be me one day. Right up to, like, you know, near enough present day where, you know, thankfully things got better and she realised that transitioning was the best thing she ever did. You know, a lot of people think after we transition we're just miserable and we have no quality of life and we just kind of, everything is always about the transition. All my life is about being trans. Not really. We actually, you'll find by talking to trans people that our lives get so much better after we transition, because then we don't have to worry about it anymore and we can carry on with the rest of our lives living as we want to live. In fact, after I finish transitioning, I plan to never use the word transgender again. No one will know that I was once a man. I will forever just be another woman in the crowd. That's what I'm hoping for.
Just waifu.
Yeah, just like Lauren, but without the massive album sales, basically, and the guitar and obviously everyone knows Lil Nas X. Do you want to talk about Lil Nas X?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think I need to say much about Lil Nas. You know, they're.
But we do stan.
Yeah, you know, he's a country rapper. He's a person of color, which is really hard in the country scene anyway.
I love it though.
And then he's gay.
Homeboy comes through the country scene and just kind of throws it in their faces. Like,
yeah, because like he's gay.
Because they were all for it, weren't they?
Of color.
Hometown, what was it called again? The first one.
Old Town Road.
Old Town Road came out, and the country scene was all over it. They were like, "Oh yeah, look at Homeboy going."
And then he came out as gay.
Then he comes out as gay, and they're like, "Ah, you filthy degenerate."
The F slur.
And he's just smiling the whole time, thinking like, "Yeah, told you. That's what these people really are." And then he just goes like times 10, 100%. You know, breaks the ceiling with it. Just, you know, call me by your name.
Yeah, the reason
grinds on the devil and fucking kills him.
Literally becomes the
and
devil.
Just takes the pole, just to fucking pole dances his way into hell and goes, right, this place is my home now. Let's get some lights here. Let's take the fire down a bit. It's a bit much, all right? Can you just chill?
Yeah, because I mean,
but yeah, made it his pad.
Obviously, the reason for that song and that music video
also
is he's talking about his...
I would like to know Freddie Silver. In what context are you referring to AC/DC? Because as far as I know, none of them have ever been homosexual. I do like AC/DC.
Yeah, we do.
I do like AC/DC. I like a bit of... Is it called classic rock these days?
Would
it be?
They would call it...
Or is that heresy?
It would be called classic rock at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
mind you,
they're so old at this
Sevenfold is classic rock.
No, they're fucking not. Avenged Sevenfold
I'm just saying that because I'm biased against them.
I know
because
you
they're
are, 'cause
all
you're a dickhead.
pricks. I like some of the songs, but like the people are just...
Yeah, they need improving.
We'll find that out, hopefully. In the meantime, we'll carry on. We've got a long night ahead of us. Anything else? Oh, I suppose we should explain why the Pulse logo is on there. It's quite an important night. Or at least, was it yesterday? Was the anniversary?
Was yesterday.
Yesterday was an important night. We were going to stream yesterday.
But we were tired.
Things happened and we decided not to in the end, so tonight we're doing it. But let's just pretend that today was yesterday, okay? So why do we have the Pulse logo?
Okay, so...
What is Pulse and why do we care?
We do also talk about this quite a bit in the section where I've put on queer persecution, but since we're going to talk about it now, then that's fine. But essentially, the Pulse nightclub was a gay club in Orlando in the US. And 5 years ago...
A very prominent Hispanic area.
Oh, yeah. 5 years ago, a massive homophobe, who we shall not name, but you can Google it.
My usual thing with these things when I'm talking about like these kind of hate crimes, if you aren't going to name the victims, then you don't name the shooter. So if you're going to name the shooter, you better name the victims too. Otherwise, I find it's incredibly irresponsible.
But yeah, we're not going to name the name of the shooter. You can just Google it for yourself if you just search Orlando club shooting, Pulse nightclub, whatever. But this person essentially gunned down 49 people and
in their own paradise, gunned them down
and injured a further 53 people purely because they were queer. Now, this takes me on to a slight side note of when homophobes, transphobes, whatever.
Why do we need pride?
Yeah, why do they need pride? What
you guys, why do you need an entire day?
Yeah, what did you do to deserve it? Like, what have the gays ever had to go through?
Tell you what, if there's a choice between an annoying day of the year where you've got a load of noisy kids with rainbow flags running around, or like 50 people getting gunned down just because of the choices they made. Well, I say choice. It's just to go and have fun, and be themselves. That would be the choice. Yeah. I'd rather have the annoying rainbow day, So, regardless of what you think of it, I think it's a massive improvement. I think we're gonna... You can't really get rid of pride until we don't have days like this anymore when you get... massive amounts of gay.
Stop murdering us, please.
Being gay is still illegal in a rather large amount of countries.
We're getting into that later. You're getting ahead of yourself.
Sorry.
Getting ahead of yourself. Way ahead of yourself.
But yeah, no. So the Pulse shooting is exactly a perfect example of why pride is still very, very relevant to today's society.
Because it was literally only 5 years ago.
And until you homophobes just like put the guns down and stop, it's going to carry on being quite important. So you're only making it worse for yourselves. Okay. So.
Well, since we're already on the topic of Pulse, we're going to go through the rest of the queer persecution. Might as well, we're already on topic.
Okay. Dion's going to take the helm here because she wrote the damn thing.
I've got it all written down. It's all on my tablet.
I just did a Bernie Sanders thing there. I wrote the damn thing.
Yeah, I wrote the damn bill.
Right. I am asking you once again to talk about queer history.
I am once again asking you to talk because I can't.
The teacher.
All right, so some of the earliest notings of actual sort of legal frameworks that were put in place to persecute queer people happened with what was known as the Buggery Act of 1533.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, during the reign of Henry VIII this was, and essentially...
Henry VIII was a dick.
Yeah, massive.
Imagine that, killing 7 of your wives. Was it 7 or 8? I don't remember school, I'm just...
He had 6 wives, and he killed 2 of them. Hang on.
Yeah, so there's that on its own, and then there's the just rampant homophobia. I mean, yeah, I know it was current year, but, come on.
Yeah.
Stop being a dick.
Either way, essentially it completely outlawed, quote, sodomy, that's a word that's going to come up a lot, in Britain, and therefore by extension the entirety of the British Empire. So everywhere that we owned at that time,
what would become an empire eventually. Yeah.
Everywhere that we
thank you, Church of England.
Yeah, everywhere that we quote unquote owned at that time, it was also illegal.
Which was, let me remind people, it was about like 2/3 of the entire fucking world.
Yeah,
we owned everything.
It was messed up.
Everything.
Colonizing bullshit. Yeah.
Like, and you guys get all like funny about like, we're losing everything. It's like, we should. It's about time we let go, you know. I mean, the Queen still has the bloody Jewel of India and a bloody crown, for Christ's sakes. When are we going to give the Elgin marbles back?
Don't even get me started.
No, I mean, just... I'm gonna, yeah.
Off topic.
I need to stop.
We'll talk about... Do you know what? We should do a whole stream on why...
Colonialisation, yeah. Why it's bad.
Yeah, and just basically why Britain sucks.
And I'd love it if you guys can join us and get really offended over that as well. That'd be great.
Gammon in the comments.
Gammon.
Oh, wait, shouldn't say that.
I had bacon yesterday. Should I have bacon? Gammon, sorry. I had bacon yesterday on pizza, so gammon... I'm watching my figure currently, so too much gammon might be a bit much.
You're gonna end up with like one of them like beer bellies like they have.
I'm gonna end up with bingo wings.
Just a reminder.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be fat.
I just want to say she's not fat phobic because, as you can probably see from my picture, I am fat as shit. So, yeah, she's.
I've got no comment. No.
Yeah,
you're lovely. Don't worry about it.
Basically, she's cool. Anyway,
I'm not just saying that.
I know. Thank you.
For the benefit of the
we're
viewers.
just being like deliberately gay on stream at this point.
Especially, I don't want to speak too highly of it though, because your brother's like hearing all this. Like, yeah, you're bang tidy. Like, you know, your brother would be like, "Oh, fucking stop, please."
It's like, you know, when kids see their parents kissing, it's like, oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, this quote-unquote Buggery Act. Buggery is another word that is heavily used against...
Well, buggery, I'd argue buggery is actually the politer term rather than sodomy, because sodomy's got like a very religious connotation, because Sodom and Gomorrah, you know?
Yeah.
So it's directly religious, and as you know, wherever a religion is, homophobia usually follows.
True.
Oh,
sorry, do you know, I tried to open the window because it's hot in
we've
here,
had
but...
a couple of guests now. We've got a bunch of really annoying kids.
They're not annoying.
Yeah, they are. Very.
They're just a bit loud.
Very.
But yeah, I tried to open the window because it's boiling in here, but unfortunately the kids are playing outside and they're just a little bit loud, so.
I don't like children.
I have no comment on that.
Which is why when I was in the room where they said, "Hey, would you like to like freeze some sperm and have some kids in future or whatever?" I was like, "No, please God, no."
I think they call it preserving your fertility.
Make me infertile. Kill my bloodline. Just kill it all. Just dead.
Yeah.
And that's what, So, to be honest, no kids for me.
You heard it here, folks. The gay...
Ideally, no kids for whoever the hell lives over the street.
You heard it here,
though,
folks. The gays are destroying humanity because we're not having children.
Uh-huh.
So.
We want to lower the amount of whites being born.
I think
I can say that because I'm white.
I think a better way to put it would be we would like to decrease the number of children that are in care.
People know I'm joking, right? I'm not a total knob. No. I only say those things because some people get offended over them because they've got their own opinions.
I just want to put a random side note before I carry on talking about the thing we're supposed to be talking about because we've once again gone off on a tangent.
I love that.
I bought this adorable little, you know, those like infinitely popping toys for like neurodivergent.
I don't know if the manufacturers knew it, but it's got the
for like neurodivergent kids. Colours. Yeah, basically, I bought one of them for myself because I fidget a lot because of my ADHD. And she's now popping it in the microphone, and that's what you can hear. Stop it! Stop it, you're such a child. But yeah, I bought it, and it's
so satisfying.
It's like a pastel blue, pink and white, so it's basically the trans flag colours. And she, whole ass, made fun of me for buying it, and here she is right now, playing with it, because you know damn well it helps. It's nice.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Now, this is immortalised on the internet of her saying that my, like, neurodivergent toys are actually cool. You can't ever let that go.
What, this is public record now?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's on record. I got the receipts, okay?
Oh.
Anyway, back to what...
your outdated internet terminology, honestly.
Says you. You're a millennial and I'm Gen Z. You're basically a boomer compared to me.
I'm on the cusp. Shut the fuck up.
Anyway, back to what we were actually talking about. So, this quote-unquote Buggery Act essentially made being gay punishable by death, which...
Yikes.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of no
on
thanks.
trikes that are also attached to bikes.
So that was obviously 1533. It wasn't until 1861, so basically more than 300 years later...
Mind blown.
...that they ended up passing what was known as the Offences Against the Person Act.
Yeah,
which
was slightly vaguely labelled, isn't it? It's funny how they go vague whenever they know what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah, it actually... It abolished the death penalty for homosexual acts, but
Nice.
it did...
so now you can live, but in chains.
It did put, a 10-year minimum imprisonment time on it.
Which was incidentally the same amount of time that in the beginning of the Nazi regime that you'd be locked up for had you been gay. Obviously, towards the end of the war, you'd be fucking shot on sight or sent into a gas chamber or worked to death. But in the beginning, it'd be 10 years. 10 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
For all your joys. Not very good.
Yeah, so continuing, unfortunately, as you can see, this was obviously a step back from the death penalty. It still wasn't great, but literally only 24 years later, there was a Criminal Law Amendment Act in 1885 that went one step further again, making any male homosexual act illegal, whether or not a witness was present. So this included homosexual acts that were done in public, done in private. Sorry.
There's a specific reason for this. I don't know. Has anyone ever heard of Margaret Thatcher?
This has got nothing to. This was way before. This was 1885.
1885. I've just made myself look a right tit.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with Margaret Thatcher.
Okay, sorry. When you get to 1985,
Section 8 is.
I was going to say, I don't think Margaret Thatcher was that. Shouldn't have done that. I don't think she would have the legal right to. No, I'm sorry, it's the weather, it's fucking me up. I thought you said 1985.
No, 1885.
I was like, you just skipped from like Henry VIII right up to 1985.
But basically, it made it completely illegal whether the act was done in public or in private, so this means people could essentially rat people out for having sex in their own houses.
It's witch trials all over again. Yeah. It's like, oh, that lady over there who like didn't give me enough sugar one day, she's a witch, kill her.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't question it. They'd just be like, okay, fuck it, yeah, we'll kill her.
It's quite strange. Cause,
whether she was a witch or not. I mean, I know actual witches exist, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But, like, even women that were considered not really unusual, not exactly, you're slightly sort of extravagant type of ladies, they could just stop anyone in and they'd just be fucking killed. Same with gays.
Yeah. Same thing.
Even if they were perfectly straight, no ambiguity there at all, they could still be charged with a homosexuality bill.
Yeah. Interestingly to know, in most places, regardless of the country, during this period and later, right up until sort of World War II, there weren't really any legislations against female homosexuality, so lesbianism. There was nothing. They basically had this weird immunity from the law.
It's quite a weird oversight, isn't it? Like, no one thought of the women. Then again, is that a byproduct of misogyny?
Probably.
Because back then, I imagine...
Women having pleasure with other women?
The rulers at the time were obviously men, so they would either have the opinion of, like, oh, we're aware of women, and we're going to stop them. Or they would just completely ignore them, wouldn't they? There wouldn't be any, like, there wouldn't be any laws that would go, we think women are having it a bit too tough, and we're going to, like, lower the load, okay?
Some of it is probably because...
None of that.
There are a lot of men that
It would either be blissful ignorance, as with the lesbians getting, like, a free pass, or it would be, like, we're just going to make your lives that much harder, because fuck you. Like, that would be basically the attitude of the time.
Yeah.
And things didn't change for, like, fucking 200 years.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Arguably, yeah.
Yeah, I think the first time it was discussed in UK Parliament about acts of lesbianism and their legality was in 1921. So basically for like hundreds of years, lesbians were just getting away with this shit because nobody ever thought that two women could have pleasure with each other.
I mean, people did try. I mean, again, in World War II, was it Himmler who like
Heinrich Himmler.
He was trying to bring that to the attention of the SS. Like,
yeah,
hey,
but no one was listening.
Women are having too much fun. We need to stop this. And they were like, "What is this guy crazy?
Yeah,
who's this guy? I don't know him."
Yeah, nobody even. It never even crossed anyone's mind that two women would have like.
Himmler was a bastard, wasn't he? I mean, think about that.
We literally watched a whole
Jews,
about it today.
gays, even lesbians, like, it just, anyone having too much fun, he'd be like, oh, I've got to put a stop to that.
To be honest, he was explicitly way more against homosexuality than he was people of the Jewish faith, so.
Yeah, you got to wonder if there's something to that. Like,
he was probably in the closet really deep.
I really think that like his family must have told him not to ever have fun ever in his life, and then he grew up believing that, and it just poisoned his brain.
There is also a possibility.
And then once Hitler gave him the keys to the castle, you know, the whole murder machine was handed over to him pretty much.
Yeah.
Like he pretty much ran an entire camp, an extermination camp, and he just let his. He went nuts, didn't he? He was just like, all right, you lot are having too much fun. And I know I'm being really simplistic with that, but it basically is that. It's like other people, they're having 2 good lives. And I'm the one person here to just put a stop to that because I think I'm so fucking great. That's the ballad of Heimlich Himmler.
Anyway, obviously, just to point out, the reason I'm talking about persecution specifically in the UK is obviously because, you know, Yumi and I are based in the UK. But obviously there is going to be massive.
I think the kids are gone.
There is going to be massive variation in the levels of queer persecution and legalities and legislation surrounding it, depending on the country. Such as some countries were much more open and progressive than others. So yeah, it's just worth noting that a lot of this is specifically referencing the UK and the US a little bit.
Here in the UK, we think we've got it good, but
we really don't.
There are actually other countries that are far more friendly to the gays.
Oh yeah, massively.
When I say the gays, I mean like everybody, by the way.
Everyone in the queer community.
That you know, the whole LGBTQIA plus. It's when I say the gays, I'm collectively putting you all in that basket.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, there's other countries that are far worse than us in terms of acceptance, and there's countries that are far better. We're kind of in that Goldilocks sort of in the middle. I don't think I should use Goldilocks as a term actually, because it's by no means perfection. That's all. But it is that weird like bit in the middle we're caught in, where like we have it the best way possible in terms of like you'll very rarely have somebody just kill somebody just for being gay randomly. But at the same time, we are treated like absolute shite, particularly trans people at the moment. There's a lot of people in society at the moment that are just like, oh, have you seen these trans people? They're having too much fun.
Also, we have the unfortunate,
How dare we?
We have the unfortunate tarring that J.K. Rowling is from this country.
Yeah, I love Harry Potter, but she's fucking ruined it for me.
She's disgusting.
First, like, she attacked my womanhood, and now she's trying to take my childhood away.
Yeah,
and I won't let her do both.
She's just, all around.
Keeping the books.
All around
and I will
trash.
read them, but I'm not giving her any of my money ever again.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna pay her to slander my friends. And because it starts with just her slandering my friends with my money, but it ends with her giving bad ideas to very, very bad people. That's how this, because rhetoric, it's like a stochastic terrorism, you know, the rhetoric turns into action. And if JK's not careful, she's one, you know, there's going to be a Harry Potter fan somewhere that's going to be like, something must be done about this. And it sounds crazy, but Pulse happened. So, you know, and people thought that couldn't happen.
Literally only 5 years ago.
People thought that couldn't happen, but it did. So, you know, I don't speak these things with no reason.
Sorry, I'm just thinking in my head because, like, what's that kind of terrorism again? It's a word I really can't say.
Stochastic terrorism. It's when you fan the flames and then sit back and enjoy the show, hoping that other people are going to act on the crazy shit you say.
Yeah, fair. No, it's a word that,
it's basically when you've got some guy on YouTube saying, "Oh, these Jews, they're a bit problematic, aren't they?" And then you've got some nutcase in New Zealand that just goes and like guns them all down. Yeah. Well, Muslims particularly. You know what I mean? It's basically stoking the flames, walking away, and then turning around and going, "Oh, I didn't do it.
It's like
I didn't do it."
Yeah, it's like what happened at Christchurch. Is what you're saying.
And we know that they wanted that to happen.
Yeah.
That's.
But no, it's a word that like my dyslexia has a lot of trouble in saying, so I'm not even gonna try.
Well, the tabloids have a big problem with it. You know, you'll know the Daily Mail. They like to fan the flames all the time.
The Daily Fail.
And then they'll tell you, "Oh, we're not racist." Meanwhile, their audience are the ones throwing the bricks. They get to fan the flames, and they'll tell you, "Oh, we're not hitting anyone. We're not shooting anyone. We're not throwing bricks.
It's those guys.
We're not doing nothing.
It's those guys over there.
Those guys over there." Yeah. And I'm like, those guys are your readers, and they're doing those things based on what you tell them. You're filling them full of fear and paranoia, and then you're just sending them out into the wilderness to go and like be like rampaging Rockwilders, basically. Just you know, it's.
Yeah. Anyway, so just back to the queer persecution stuff. I'm going to briefly talk a little bit about the US because obviously I don't want this to be all UK centric because
we live here, but you know we know that other countries exist.
Yeah. So especially since we're going to be talking more about Stonewall, and obviously that happened in the US, so it's only really fair that we try and talk a little bit more about it. But essentially...
Although, there is more countries than just UK and US.
Yeah.
So we'll get onto that later, though, because
that's a whole other thing.
I've got a big thing for you guys.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing,
not talking about my genitals.
Why was the joke necessary, though?
I don't know.
I mean, she's not lying, but still.
Yeah, you are a bit. It's shrank quite a bit. 55 minutes in nearly, and there I go. Sorry, guys.
What was the need?
Well, you know, if any of you lot want to bully me and say I'm like an SJW, cringe lord, and I've got like a micro penis, you're 100% correct, and I don't care.
She really doesn't have.
I don't care because like
I
don't judge my measure of character based on the size of my penis, unlike a lot of men in society.
Anyway,
frankly, the smaller it gets, the better the drugs are working with the pills. You know.
Yeah.
Why not?
Anyway, so in terms of queer persecution in the US, I'm only really stating things that happened post-American Revolution, because a lot of it prior to that is just wishy-washy shit. Sorry.
That wasn't me, by the way.
It's the kids outside. So such crimes such as, again, sodomy, there's that really loaded term.
Very religiously fundamentalist.
It was considered a capital offence in the US, so once again it was something that was punishable by death. And even something as simple as cross-dressing was considered a felony, which people would normally be...
Can you imagine living in that time?
Yeah, they would be imprisoned or have other forms of corporal punishment. It was pretty messed up.
All because of like the fear of your like society like crumbling because someone puts a dress on one day and goes outside. It really is. Honestly, people say that we're like fragile like snowflakes. I'm like, fucking hell, you lot. Someone puts on a dress and you guys go like mental, running around with like your hair on fire, saying, "Oh, society's crumbling."
Have you seen that picture
like,
of
give us a break?
The Republicans.
You guys are the snowflakes.
Have you seen that picture of the Republicans in the 70s who said that having long hair is communism?
Yeah,
like
and
they call that snowflakes.
They have the nerve to tell me I'm like fragile. I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it's like you're offended over like people's skin color,
come on.
and you think
you
we're
guys.
fragile.
It really hasn't been removed much from the old McCarthyist times, when like everything was communism, and it's become that way again.
True.
You say, "Oh, being good to people is quite nice. Actually, I quite like a nice integrated community," and they go, "Communism."
Yeah.
Like,
how about we
and then they call me sensitive for saying it.
Yeah. How about we ensure that all people have a decent quality of life? Communism.
You know, I just think being like not being a dick to people is not so much me being fragile and snowflakey. I just think it's like, from what I've learned in my life so far, you get further in your life by being nice to people than you do by just generally being a dick and not making the effort to at least give people general respect. You know, it's not fragility. It's more, if anything, you're proving that you're the stronger person because you can still have respect for someone that you disagree with. Isn't that the whole free speech mantra that these guys tend to argue about?
Yeah, it's all
doesn't really work when it's flipped on them, does it?
Yeah, they really don't.
Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again. Sorry.
But yeah, so obviously we already mentioned that the Pulse shooting happened 5 years ago in the US. That was in like I said, it was in Orlando, which I believe is in Florida, but don't hold me to it. My US geography is not fantastic.
Sorry, repeat that last bit.
Orlando. It's in Florida. Yes.
Orlando? Yes, it is, yeah.
Yeah, I just double checking. My US geography, not fantastic.
No, I've heard it enough to know it's in Florida.
Yeah. Anyway, so as you can gather, this was just such a horrifically violent hate crime. That's the only way to put it. It was a hate crime against queer people, literally just trying to be in a club that was...
Explicitly so, because the shooter actually, like... he gave himself into the police afterwards, like called them and said, like, I've taken care of the problem. Like, that kind of thing. It was he thought that these people just having a good night out were a virus and he was the cure. Yeah, that was the mindset this guy had.
Yeah.
You can't tell me homophobia doesn't exist when things like that are allowed to happen.
Yeah. But honestly, after what happened then, I mean, you've got to remember that because this was only 5 years ago, there were going to be queer people for decades.
Oh yeah,
young queer people, older queer people who were going to remember seeing the live news footage.
Particularly in the Latino community, it really got to them.
Yeah. You know, like, I remember seeing this on the news, and at the time I was only 17.
Yeah.
Like,
it's weird for me because when this happened, I was in like this time of my life where I would be making excuses for like people that were on the right because I was kind of being a bit of a pygmy sort of
The good tram.
I was kind of like trying to like, you know, I thought that if I was too lefty, then I wouldn't get many friends, and being the spineless worm that I was back in the day, I would just kind of go along with whichever side had more people on it, where like I would be treated with more respect. And that back then was the anti-SJW crowd. But yeah, that. So I mean, I kind of regret it, because I mean, obviously these days I abhor. I mean, I get the feeling back then that we didn't take it as seriously as we should have.
Yeah.
Because we saw it, and my friends back then were saying, "Oh, that's just another night of the week. Homophobia exists. Oh, big deal." And it's like, it is though. It's a massive deal. What the hell are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't have the balls to like point that out to them and just come out and say it. Like but I was deeply shocked. In fact, this was one of the moments of my life where I was shaken to my core, to the point where I was like, I'm making excuses for bad people. And as many of you know, later on, shortly afterwards, I think it was, I don't have a great memory of this, but soon afterwards we had the Charlottesville incident where Heather Heyer was ran over by a fascist. And at that point, I couldn't hide it anymore. I realised that I was the fascist. I was making excuses for people getting fucking killed. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to readjust my values. I have to reevaluate my life. What am I becoming?
Yeah.
And but yeah, the Pulse nightclub shooting in particular was one of those nights where I would basically be agreeing with people I didn't really agree with through gritted teeth, you know. I have to be honest with people, you know. I can't sit here and tell you that, oh yeah, I really cared at the time, because truth be told, I was just a bit of a dick. I was a bit of a knobhead back in the day. And I'm pretty sure I'm not on my own. There's a lot of trans women back in the day that would have been doing the same thing. So yeah, sorry, bit of a...
Yeah. And obviously, as you said, you know, a lot of people, I mean, I wasn't in this boat, but there were a lot of people who were like, who didn't consider this a serious thing, because just, you know, violence against queer people is so normalised in society. But since this happened...
Yeah, I kind of roll my eyes at homophobia sometimes, unless it's one of these kind of incidents.
But, you know, since what happened
on the internet,
at Pulse...
you can't escape it. Yeah,
since what happened at Pulse, attacks upon members of the queer community has only been on the increase, especially in countries like the UK and America.
I mean, you could say when Donald Trump got elected, it kind of emboldened these people.
Yeah,
because they basically thought, like, oh, that's cool, that means I can just attack people.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump will either not support it, but not really care about it, or secretly behind closed doors, he'll be like, yeah, look at my people go.
It's especially messed up to consider that certain members of the queer community, such as in this example, trans women of colour, are so heavily targeted by queer attacks. Obviously, not only because they're women, not only because they're queer.
It's the age-old story. We're a threat to the established. We're a threat to the established order. So anyone who feels not so secure in their own identities and their own, you know, faculties, as it were, they would feel threatened by us, and therefore, when people are threatened by something, they usually get hostile. And that's kind of just that's the pure science of it. It's just people that are insecure about themselves and the security of where their surroundings, basically.
The thing is, it's actually so bad.
You'll find that that's where homophobia usually comes from.
The thing is, it's actually gotten so bad that, one, a lot of murders against queer people are just not reported in the news, because they'd rather just pretend like it didn't happen.
You have to know that tabloids are very interested in making money, and unfortunately, gay bodies are so commonly a thing that it doesn't always make money for them to report on these things.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
And it's a sad state of life, you know. It's a sad fact of life.
But you know, it's incredibly bad when you consider the fact that trans women of colour, like I was just saying, because of how heavily targeted they are. But
then again, there's another argument to be made that, like, there's so many being murdered that how could the media possibly report on them all? That's another grim thing you've got to think about.
Are you finished?
Sorry.
You're not going to interrupt me again?
I'm sorry. I do that a lot.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pet peeve, but I deal with it. But yeah, like, as I said, particularly... obviously, all queer people are attacked for their queerness in some form or another, but particularly certain groups, like I said, such as trans women of colour, it's so bad for them that they literally, in countries such as the United States, they have a life expectancy of 35 or less.
I do feel that some people will roll their eyes at hearing that, but it's because we humanity really we've only just kind of been getting used to that fact. It's a new thing. Like no one would have told you that back in like 2014. I mean, people in the know would have known it and they would have been talking about it, but I think it's only really now that the leftist community and, well, I mean, even a lot of like the liberal types, you know, the centrists, as it were, they know this. Whether they talk about it or not, they know it, and that's a lot more people that knew it a couple of years back. So I'm going to turn the lights on. Hang on a minute.
Okay. Yeah, so obviously you all know the kinds of things that we face as queer people. Like, if you're somebody who's an ally, you've seen it from the outside. If you're somebody who's actually queer, you know, you've experienced it yourself to some degree or another. Even if somebody just says, like, oh, your clothes look a bit, you know, faggy or whatever, that is homophobia. It's relatively harmless, but it's still homophobia. So, honestly, when I meet certain queer people who are like, oh, you know, I don't think I've ever really experienced any homophobia, I'm like, I really don't think that's true. I think just for some of us, it just goes over our head.
Oh, trust me.
Because we're so used to it.
When I was at school, I was bullied because people suspected me of being gay. And at the time, I had no idea I actually was, to be honest. Yeah. But what I found out very quickly is that it wasn't just me. Most of my friends got bullied also for being gay. Despite the fact that they weren't, you know, still to this day, a lot of them are straight.
Yeah.
But they got bullied and called a fag all the time just because of their haircut, because of the music they listened to. You know, kids are cruel, and they get taught these bigotries by other sources, whether the culture we live in.
Yeah, essentially, homophobia and transphobia has become so commonplace in society.
You don't even need to be gay to be bullied for being gay as such. You can be completely straight and still have people, you know, exhibit a lot of homophobia towards you.
That's the thing. Homophobia and transphobia has become so commonplace in society that saying something is gay is just a general insult for saying something shit.
No, I'm pretty sure there was kids back at school when I was at Lakers. They wouldn't have known back then that I was trans because even I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it would just be a case of like, oh, you've got long hair. You listen to like metal music. You know, you listen to the angry stuff. You're edgy. You know, so therefore we're going to bully you because you're different. And usually the word faggot comes into that because that's the word they like to employ when it's like, because that's what it means really. The word faggot derives as like, you're different, homosexual, you know. Queer itself is another word for unusual, different. So and it all comes from the same cloth, whether it be queer, faggot, bum boy, you know, all these words. Yeah. It's all from the same sheet.
Yeah, a lot of queer terms are just so heavily loaded. Like, even like you said, even the word queer itself is so loaded. Like, but yeah, so I think
we're about 1 hour and 7 minutes in.
Yeah, I think, what do you want to do? Do you want to move on to doing some of the Stonewall stuff? I think we can cut out the activism before Stonewall because it's not really that relevant.
If you'd like, yeah, okay.
But yeah, I think we'll move on to the Stonewall stuff and then we'll do the small bit of post-Stonewall stuff and present day that I've got, and then we'll do the documentary, and then we'll go on to... I've got a bit of a section on flags here because they're a bit of a controversial topic and I want to talk about it. Because LGBT flags, it goes one way. You either see people roll their eyes or you see people glisten.
You guys aren't the only ones. Like, I'm assuming some people in here are straight.
People in the queer community, it's also very loaded.
Find it a bit confusing when they change every single year. There's a new thing added, something taken away or whatever. Trust me, there's a lot of people in the gay community. We argue about it too.
Yeah,
it's like a constant bit of infighting. Like, do we really need this here? Can't this be a bit different? Can't we put this in this corner? It's a load of waffle, to be honest. Truth be told, I've never been that much of a flag waver when it comes to my own sexuality as such. But all the same, I'm not exactly in the whole boat of like, oh, we just need the rainbow flag and then it's fine.
You know.
I mean I mean, if they absolutely had to have that argument of just the rainbow flag and nothing else, then I would say at least we have areas of the community that have their own flags. Like, you've got the trans flag, for example, which is the pink, the blue, and the white pastel colours, and then you've got the The new addition lately that's been added is the intersex flag that has just kind of been put in on the side there. The flag is on the thumbnail, by the way, so you can look at it right now as it stands. And that'll be that yellow bit with the circle. And that's the intersex flag. So basically I'm on the point where basically I don't care enough to really protest, but at the same time I'm like, is it necessary, you know? Because all these other communities have got their flags, so the rainbow flag I thought would have been a catch-all. But I'm not going to die on that hill.
Yeah, that's something we're going to get into later, because I have a slightly different perspective.
But it's just a fact that people fight over it, and
yeah, it's true.
Some people take it more seriously than others. I'm one of them where I'll just basically like, we have a flag. It is what it is. That's that. You know, it represents me, and hopefully it can represent as many people as possible without the fighting carrying on.
Yeah. Just give me a sec. Could you please pass me my cigarette stuff?
Yep.
Because I'm going to have you read out this bit that I've got written down.
Of course. Haven't I talked enough? You've been telling me to shut the fuck up for the last 20 minutes.
But
okay.
Yeah, so you're reading Queer Rights and Activism before Stonewall.
Hello, people. Humans.
Homo sapiens.
Queer Rights and Activism before Stonewall. The first documented US gay rights organisation, the Society for Human Rights, or SHR, was founded in 1924 by Henry Gerber, a German immigrant. Police raids forced them to disband in 1925, but not before they had published several issues of their newsletter, Friendship and Freedom, that's what it was called. The country's first gay interest newsletter, a fagazine, if you will. That's one of my jokes.
That's why I had to read this section.
Please don't get me cancelled. I thought it was funny.
We are queer. We can use that.
It's magazine, but with an F.
Yeah, a fagazine.
Nice. And if I was the owner of a gay magazine,
that's what it would be called.
That's what I would call it. So.
Magazine.
Okay, so this is a huge difference to the UK, where some of the earliest LGBTQIA+ organisations that I could find. They weren't formed until the 60s and the 70s. Is that 70s? You didn't put the S.
Yeah, I didn't put the S.
Yeah, so 60s and 70s. Some just before Stonewall, but the vast majority being afterwards, with many being from even as late as the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Stonewall. Okay, here we go. The big night. Stonewall. The 1960s and preceding decades were not welcoming times for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. For instance, solicitation of same-sex relations was illegal in New York City. For such really, it wasn't just New York, was it?
No, but Stonewall happened in New York. That's why.
Okay, I see. Okay.
That's why I mentioned New York.
I was going to say, you've kind of hyper-focused, but I can see why.
Yeah, it's because Stonewall happened in New York.
For such reasons, LGBT individuals flocked to gay bars and clubs, places of refuge, where they could express themselves openly and socialise without worry. However, the New York State liquor authorities penalised and shut down establishments that served alcohol to known or suspected LGBT individuals, arguing that the mere gathering of homosexuals was disorderly. Stonewall Riots, also called the Stonewall Uprising, began in the early hours of June 28, 1969, where New York City police raided the Stonewall Inn, a popular gay club located in Greenwich Village in New York City. The raid sparked a riot among bar patrons and neighbourhood residents as police roughly hauled employees and patrons out of the bar, leading to 6 days of protests and violent clashes with the law enforcement. Okay, and as we talked about earlier, Marsha P. Johnson was the first one that night to throw down, pretty much. She was like, fuck this.
She basically threw a brick at a car.
I'm going to go beast mode.
She said ACAB before ACAB was a thing.
Yeah.
Is that too radical?
It's your own job. Like, you're putting your life in your own hands. Post Stonewall. On the 1-year anniversary of the riots, 1970, several hundred demonstrators marched along Greenwich Village's Christopher Street, which runs past the Stonewall Inn, in what many consider the first gay pride march, though other commemorations were also held that year. Since then, activists, whether they be queer or allies, have worked their asses off fighting for our rights. more and more countries were decriminalising homosexuality, and some even legalising civil union or even marriage between gay couples. Now, as you remember, it used to be called civil union.
Or civil partnership.
Civil partnership, yeah. And that was kind of like the government trying to keep everyone calm, because obviously religious people weren't too happy with the word marriage being used, because they thought it was encroaching on their religious values. So the government were like, okay, we'll let you guys do the marriage thing, but we don't want to call it marriage. So civil partnership. And I mean, some gay couples got married under that and they were fine with it, but
for some of us, it just wasn't the same. It
was almost like the term civil partnership was an insult, because it was like, well, you're kind of married, but you're worth less.
Yeah.
You're less than actual married people. Don't go above your station, boys, and girls, and other. More on that later.
I'll read the next bit.
Okay.
Okay, so we're moving on to present day now. Well, present time, not the exact day, of course. So, obviously, to date, I found the most up-to-date resource I could, and approximately 69 countries still have being gay as illegal. And 11 of those... 69, yeah, 69. Ironic, yeah. And Stonewall started in 69.
Is this the right time to be doing the 69 joke?
Mm-mm.
It isn't, is it?
No,
we are incredibly sorry. If you're offended by anything that you've seen on tonight's programme, please contact... Do we have a number? We don't, do we?
Please contact...
The joke has failed from that point.
Please contact 0800 We Don't Care, because we have our opinions.
1-800 Fuck You. Yeah.
That's one way to put it. But yeah, so to this day, 69 of those countries as well have it as something that's still punishable by death. Some of those include... Iran, Saudi Arabia,
and that's just the countries that explicitly kill you for it. There's a lot of countries where they don't kill you, but you don't live a good life. Like Russia's one of them. Yeah. You don't get killed for being gay.
It's not illegal to be gay in Russia.
You don't get killed by the legal system for being gay, at least, but you don't live a good life. You can't be open, at least,
And out of how many actual countries are there? I think there's 190.
Poland are a bit funny at the moment with gay rights.
Yeah, they're rolling
Again,
back
you're
on
not
that pretty hard.
You're not gonna get legally killed for it, but there is such places as LGBT free zones, and I'm like, how fun must they be? They sound like a barrel of laughs. No one having any fucking fun.
They've also rolled back a lot of abortion rights in Poland. Poland is getting really fashy at the moment. It's not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and out of I think there's approximately 200 countries, actual recognized countries currently. Only 25 of them, so basically an eighth, have gay marriage legalized. And to be honest, most of those, no, in fact, the entirety of those didn't happen until the 2000s, the first being the Netherlands in 2001.
Most of the people who will watch this, it's within your lifetime this all happened.
Mm-hmm.
Within your lifetime.
2001 was...
So again, when we're told, Pride doesn't need to exist, it does. There's plenty of work that needs done.
Yeah.
Plenty of work. Because in my lifetime, so much has happened, but also a lot hasn't.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I was saying...
And I've only been alive 27 years, nearly 28. That's not exactly a very long amount of time when you consider, gay history as a whole. That's not a lot of time.
So, like I said, it was only 20 years ago that the very first country, the Netherlands, legalised gay marriage. 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm 23 this year, so I was literally only alive for 3 years before they even legalised gay marriage for the first time in one country. And, in fact, in the UK, where we're based, obviously, it was only 7 years ago that we fully legalised gay marriage. And even
within our lifetime,
and even
both of us.
Yeah, and even then, Northern Ireland didn't take part in that because of how heavily religious they are. They were the one part of the UK where it wasn't legalised until later, quite a bit later, actually, a couple of years.
Yeah.
So my answer to people when they're like, why do you get a whole month? What did you do to deserve it? It's my answer to them normally is, has it ever been illegal or even punishable by death to be cis and heterosexual? No. Not ever. Not once in all of human history has that ever been something that is punishable by death, and it never will be. Because you're considered the default, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but you are. this is why gay people, we have to have these whole like big coming out sessions, because people assume that everyone is cis and
it's
het.
that whole thing. We tried to be nice about it. We tried to just keep ourselves to ourselves. You guys didn't want it that way, so we had to throw bricks, and just be glad that we're not throwing bricks anymore and we're just marching down the street.
Yeah.
Because if you guys want to kill us on sight, then we can easily go back to throwing bricks again. I'm pretty sure none of us want that.
No.
So it's probably a good idea if we just stick to just having a nice day out, you know, like the rest of you guys do. Why can't we?
Yeah. Just accept the fact that queer people exist, and the fact that they exist doesn't infringe on your rights.
Because to be honest, I mean, it's all about the pride for me. It's like, I don't give a damn what company puts like a rainbow flag on their logo or whatever, because most of the time it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. It's
just them trying to attract more customers. You know, companies operate based on like
rainbow capitalism.
The people that want to buy stuff from them, and they figured out that a large majority of people on the planet, well, it's still a minority, but it's a large portion of people are gay, and they realised that if they aren't attracting the gay community to buy their products,
they're losing on money.
They're losing out on a lot of money, so that's the only reason they put a rainbow on their
companies
films,
such as Converse.
So you know, when I get a homophobe that tells me like, you don't need pride, you've got every company at your feet, I'm like, I don't care. Amazon are not going to send me like a bag of money. They're not going to rescue my friends. They're not going to go to Iran and tell Iran to stop being such dicks, are they? No, they've done none of that. But despite, you know, and next time Disney tells you that they're doing a great job, and that, you know, oh, we're going to have our first openly gay this, that, and the other, and it's like they never do they? It's always like something in the background that you'll blink and miss, and then when that film gets into like other countries, it'll always be taken out and altered, because, you know, China makes you a shitload of money, and they love money a lot more than they love principles.
For example, just a quick example, companies like Bethesda, who in all of their Western countries and Eastern countries that are pro-LGBT, they will change the logo to rainbow, but in certain countries such as Bethesda Middle East, they won't change it. It's performative. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. So, yeah. So and next time some homophobe thinks that I own the media and you know, we're like the leaders, and you know, it's our world and we get to really pull the strings. We don't own shit. Companies try and pander to us, but it doesn't mean anything, like Dion just said.
Yeah, it's all performative. And the thing is, it gets even worse when you consider that a lot of the companies that do this thing where they change their logo or they bring out Pride merchandise, they will then, under the table, be donating money to, you know, politicians or organisations that are anti-gay.
That actually happens.
It really does. There are so many companies that will
fund. Thankfully, some companies are honest about it, and they're just dicks. You know, like Chick-fil-A and Papa John's. You know, they'll just cut out the middleman and say, yeah, you know, you don't want to come here and buy stuff from us because we're donating to right-wing religious reactionary religious groups, you know?
Just anti-gay people in
and
general.
I kind of appreciate that. I love it when a company can at least be honest, you know, and tell you where they're sending your money. Because I fucking hate it when a company tries to they think you're a child.
They'll smile to your face and then stab you in the back.
Look, rainbow flag, give us money please. And they think that we don't know what they're doing.
They're the people who will smile in your face and be like, we love you, we support you, and then literally 10 minutes later, they'll be rounding you up to be slaughtered. You know, they don't care.
Well, that's
not literally mine.
I mean, figuratively, yeah. They might as well be. Yeah.
For example, another one, the UK Conservative Party changed their logo. They put up a tweet saying
the Tories don't love you. They're not your friends.
Yeah, they put up a tweet saying, you know, we support all of our non-binary and gay and transgender and whatever people in the country.
Just type in Margaret Thatcher interview.
But the thing is, no.
She was quite horrible.
I actually have a lot to say on this. I'm just going to put the tablet down for a sec because I don't have it written down, but I've got it just in the brain.
Go off.
Right, I'm going to pop off, Queen. Sorry.
Shut the fuck up.
That's the gayest thing I've said all day, I think. But yeah, the thing with the Conservative Party is they put up this big tweet saying about how they love and appreciate all the gay people in this country and what we contribute to the country. But then they're rolling back transgender rights, such as the fact that you now have to be 16 in order to access trans healthcare. So if you are a young trans person, you can't even get hormone blockers until you're 16.
Another bit of personal history for me, it just sounds like yes, exactly.
Yeah,
it is just manipulation.
See, Tez is way into this.
They think you're a fucking idiot and they'll treat you like one.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will still give them money, but you've got a right not to.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
You're talking about your past with, like, accessing trans
Yeah,
healthcare.
like, I was on a... People tell me I've got it easy and I can transition like that, and, like, everything's given to me free by the state.
If you've got the money.
And the government can't possibly help me any more than I do, and I'm just a whiny snowflake. I was on the waiting list for 4 years, and, like, I attempted suicide 3 times. 3 times in 4 years. Before I met Dion, mind. Yeah. But yeah, like, it's not fucking easy. It's not like a walk in the park to transition. You go through literal hell. And that's just on the waiting list. Think about all those kids where they've got, like, a puberty come in. Their bodies are going to just be ripping themselves inside out according to their own mindset, you know, depending on where they want to be. And all they get told is, like, that they're a threat to the other gender or whatever, or the same gender in this case. You know, they get TERFs basically just telling them you're a threat to humanity now, and
it's like, you're literally a child.
Right, so, like, do you see how rigged it is against you?
Yeah.
When you're trans.
The worst thing is, like I said, the thing with the puberty blockers is because they have pushed the age back to 16.
Yeah.
The thing is,
I'm fucking thankful I'm not a fucking, like, 12-year-old kid at the moment, because I can't bear thinking about what that must be like, knowing that you're trans and not being able to do fuck all about it for the next 8 or 9 years, just because somebody thinks you're a threat.
But yeah, the thing is...
Or that you're being brainwashed by older people because there's an agenda to push. Like, you can't make your own mind up.
But yeah, the thing is with the puberty blockers, children who go on them in order to prevent puberty, you know, such as, you know, as young as 11, the thing is, as soon as they come off those blockers, it's completely reversible. Puberty will start as normal. It is not the permanent change that people think it is.
Yeah, okay.
Lol. Bye. Spam in the chat.
I love it. This proves we're popular. Nice, guys. Send all the hatred our way. We love it. Carry on.
But yeah, the thing about the puberty blockers is, like I said, medically they are completely 100% reversible. So it's not like these children are making permanent changes to their body. And the Conservatives have rolled it back to where you have to be 16 to access these puberty blockers, but the vast majority of people will have already, you know, gone through puberty by the time they're 16. They'd be right either in the middle of it or already finishing for the vast majority. And it's messed up that they've rolled that back based on nothing. Not based on facts, not based on, you know, medical concerns. It's nothing. It's just because they don't want transgender youth to have access to the healthcare that they deserve. And, you know, it gets even worse because recently I was taking part in a petition to make non-binary a recognised gender in the UK, so you can have it as your legal gender, rather than saying you're non-binary but still having your sex be considered your legal gender. So
YouTube really doesn't help you, does it, when it comes to dealing with these cunts?
Not really. But yeah, and the thing is, they literally they denied that petition. It was debated in Parliament, and then they said no, we're not gonna recognise non-binary as a legal identity. But then they go and make that tweet where they mention their support for non-binary people. It's like, you don't support non-binary people because you're not even letting us identify the way we want to identify. You know. So yeah, it's.
Do you know how to deal with this? It's not letting you. Like...
Give me a sec. Let me see.
Go on, you have a go.
Hold this.
I like sniping.
Ooh, it's a good lid on it.
Oh, okay. It's that easy. You can. No, hang on. I think I'm about to learn how to aim a rifle properly. Okay. Yeah, YouTube's not very helpful, it seems. Because there's no button where it just says, like, completely nuke.
Yeah.
Oh well. Tonight's going to show you anything. It's that you can't just screech loudly to stop progress.
Yeah, it's not going to happen though.
Yeah, unfortunately that's not going to happen. I've dealt with far worse. Yeah, but that's just one message.
Yeah, I know, but...
I'm hoping you've got a button where you can just kind of...
Mm-hmm.
Oh. They're coming out with all the classics. I love it.
I mean, if you really want to talk about children's purity, maybe you should go have a conversation with the Catholic Church. Just an idea.
Oh, fucking hell.
Like, you know, actual pedophiles.
Ouch.
No, I mean, come on. Do you know what? I'm gonna leave you in because you know I want to have a conversation with you. Come on, let's see it during a Pride stream.
You're fucking with a biologist.
Let's see how homophobic you can get. I'm just curious. I'm curious. Come on.
Let's make it.
What did you expect us to just cry and end the stream because of you?
We have got other shit to do, like, so you know it's.
Yeah, I mean,
as fun as it is, like. You
I
know,
mean, yeah, we don't have all day for you, but if you can put your brain together fast enough in order to make some more comments, then I'd be happy to engage.
I don't get what the point of invading chat is, because it's like we have like two viewers on average, and none of them usually are in chat, so you're wasting your time. No one's really going to see this. What are you? Oh, this guy's like.
What are you talking about?
This is like Schrodinger's asshole. Like,
yeah.
I'll pop a joke out there, and then if it's not funny, I'll just suddenly pretend like I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
like,
imagine.
You know full well.
Imagine pretending that you don't know about the Catholic Church being a massive pedophile ring. Like, imagine pretending.
This is rites of passage. I did tell you we'd be getting people like this.
Oh yeah, no. In all honesty, I kind of expected it to be for the Pride stream
it's funny,
because
though.
homophobes are just so upset right now.
They probably spent all evening like typing LGBTQ+A into their search bar to find someone to pick on. 2% of the population. P words. Oh, so you're too chicken to actually say the word that you want to say. That's interesting. Do you have any principles at all? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's like...
What is the punchline?
It's like you want to say something, but you know you're too afraid to do it. It's really quite tragic.
It's like, if you can't stand on your principles, then what have you got? It's quite pathetic, really. At least I've figured out who I am. Who are you?
The funniest thing is, they will be spending all night typing out homophobic comments, and then they'll call us the snowflakes.
It's called God. Look at that. The level of... the ego on these people.
The funniest thing is, they're not even...
They feel so threatened. Like, it's just...
Yeah, it's...
Oh, I've got to call myself God now, because people are being free. Oh... Well, the kind of God I believe in wouldn't believe the shit you do because he's played by Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah, true.
So.
True.
Nah.
No, the funniest thing is a lot of religious people will be against homophobia, against homosexuals, but the thing is,
I'm with the night.
The Bible actually says nothing that's against homosexuality.
Don't tell them that. That'll ruin their whole.
No, in terms of facts, the line "man shall not lie with man" was actually initially called "man shall not lie with boy," and the church changed it because they realised, oh wait, we do lie with boys.
These people, you've not mentioned any names, God, or I'm aimless 5. We're about to give you some because we've got some gay icons, people that have done greater things than you guys can ever probably achieve. Should we go through them?
No, do you know what? Should we make them uncomfy and go for the intersex documentary first? Let's make them really uncomfy.
You're blowing things out of the water here. Let's go. Like I said, I'm going to have to skip the beginning portion.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck trying to tell these people to stop existing, because they're pretty vocal about existing.
Yeah.
You know? Much more than I am, actually. We need to research that, though, how to... Actually, I've got... If you want to sort that out...
the disk drive's on that side.
Oh, wonderful. Not gone in our favour. Yeah, we should have probably thought about that.
Sorry. Here you go.
I think God has disappeared.
Tragic.
Wow. Much quicker than last time, eh, God? So I'm not going to switch to the thing until...
Yeah.
Although it's a good thing is, while we're screen sharing, we're not going to see chat, so you guys can throw as much fire as you like. Fucking hell, it knows what it's called. Look at that. Oh. No, we're still fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I think that's just your laptop realising that it's got to do more shit now, so it's like,
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to probably end up trying to talk to YouTube about this, because I don't... They should make it a lot easier to control this stuff. Because I don't want to have to do this every 5 minutes. Honestly, Kevin Logan made this look so easy. What the fuck am I getting wrong?
Yeah, I'll have a look.
What I mean, is there like a... Because I saw a thing about a moderator. Is that like possible? Because then I could just make myself a moderator and then do some social justice. You know, in the worst way. Like, the kind of social justice that terrifies these people. The kind of social justice that makes these people whiter than even me. Right. The issue I've got though right at the moment is we're kind of focusing on these whoever these lot are, and it's impacting the quality of the stream because I'm not talking as much. So I reckon we should prioritise the people that are here to actually have a good time.
Sure.
Because otherwise we're letting these people win. I know it's kind of cliched, but it is true.
Give me a sec, I've got an idea. Just like a really quick fix to the thing.
Because also, I don't think your brother's been here in a while.
No,
he's disappeared.
He said there was like an issue with his computer or something.
Oh, great. That would be God, I imagine. Thank you, God.
Right, now. Give it a sec.
What's happened?
Come on. I'm trying to... Right, now click on me, make me a moderator.
Oh, you're going to love this.
Right.
Alright, do some nuking. I'm going to set this up.
Mm-hmm.
Kill God. Is it giving you any extra buttons?
I'm hoping so. Give me a sec.
I don't know how your laptop works, so you're going to have to get this thing to work. If there's any intersectional people in the chat, please make yourselves well known. I recently got a subscriber who was had some videos that are about intersex. If you're out there, you'll know who you are. You know, this could be a good time. Oh, hidden. Okay, well that's better than nothing.
Yeah.
That's you see, hidden to me is like a... I don't know why they didn't just say block. Like hidden block, it's like... It's not inherent for me to know that those are different things. Fucking hell. There's like an entire 20 minutes of the stream now where we're just knocking about with knobheads. Alright, are we doing gay icons after the intersex documentary? That's what we're going to do, yeah. Right.
There we go. I've hidden them.
You know, they got sock accounts. They'll just send more in, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
We've dealt with the majority of the trash for now.
I'll have my phone on hand.
Oh, Cockroach Gaming, hello. Not weird at all. When churches began accepting LGBTQ, the numbers of P-word cases there increased at a drastic rate.
You got a source for that, friend.
Oh, where's the source?
You got a source for that. You got a citation.
Also, if that's true and these priests were homosexual, does that mean I have to suddenly support them just because they're gay? I doubt it. Like, we're not a monolith, you know. There are some people in the community that are absolute twats. And I'm not afraid to say that. You know, whether you're a priest or a plumber or anything else, you know.
Just gonna say...
Everyone's capable of evil.
Just gonna say, if you don't have a legitimate source citation for this, that isn't, like, QA
also,
bullshit.
I'm done with this. Either either give us some actual, like, something we can actually, like, dig into, or fuck off, frankly, because... Oh man, imagine that. Like, we stream about other stuff, no one bothers us. The second we put gay in the title, they're proving the point. Like, this is why we need Pride.
They're big man.
Because you guys don't know when to shut the fuck up. Like, why don't you just go and watch Fortnite like you do any other night? Like, I'm sorry, I if there's any Fortnite fans, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Or aggressively masturbate to lesbian porn whilst also being homophobic.
No, that was last Wednesday. Without the homophobic part.
Ironic. Yeah, I wasn't talking about you. Right, should we get on with the doc then?
Well, the thing is, I'll need to, once it's playing, switch to the thing. But there's a bit at the beginning of the documentary that I don't think YouTube's going to allow. So, but anyway, so while you're setting that up, I'm going to talk about the copyrights and stuff and who's in it and whatnot. You know your laptop. I don't know.
I don't really watch DVDs on my laptop. But okay, hang on.
Well, you probably go into this PC and then pause it once you've got the window open.
Just put that
so, it's called Intersection. It's a documentary by Grant LaHood, and it's about New Zealand intersexual community. 68 minutes, and the copyright is Ponsonby Productions, and this was made in 2012. Now, we're hoping that they won't have an issue with us reacting to this, purely as an educational thing. But if they do, we're happy to come to an understanding. So, but we're hoping, based on the fact that it seems like it's an educational piece, that they would want it to be used that way. But of course, we won't just be simply airing it on the internet. We will be reacting to it and talking about it, so it will be fair use when we are protected by that law. Even though we're not in America, YouTube is an American company.
True.
Which means we operate on some kind of agreement that is a bit like that. At least that's what I've been led to believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure no one wants to see the beginning bit, because it's a child being born, and I don't know if YouTube's okay with that. It might be on certain channels because they've got like some because they're a bigger corporate kind of thing. But I think in this case it's better to be safe than sorry.
I'm just not entirely sure where to fucking
Films
find
and
it.
TV.
I'm literally just not entirely sure where to find it. It's actually really
Removable
annoying.
storage? Because that would count as the...
There it is, yep. Sweet, thank you.
Oh, there it goes. Oh. Why is it 0 items? That's weird. It's a DVD. You're supposed to be able to play it.
It's booting up the disc though.
Sorry about this, guys.
Technical issues.
I want to see if there's any clowns in chat.
Yeah, no.
No,
I'm keeping,
Cockroach Gaming, you've just fucked off.
I'm keeping an eye on
I expected more from you.
Yeah, because you ask them for a source. They expect
Honestly.
They say things that they think are going to get you mad, and then when you're just like, you got a source.
I'm so fragile. Honestly, I'm shaken to my core. Also, I love the fact that you've gotten, like, that looks like a very Islamic-looking flag on that profile.
Yeah.
3 guesses why you have those opinions.
Yeah.
Not tarring you all with the same brush, mind, but... Caught in
4K.
What the fuck's he on about?
It's a meme where people do like questionable things on the internet and they say you've been caught in 4K. Yeah.
Not exactly. We're not that high. Oh.
YouTube won't let me post sources. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You failed. We're kicking you. Fuck off.
Yeah. I'll do it.
Go on. Just do it.
It's fine. I'll do it.
Do not insult my intelligence, you fucking pig.
Yep.
Fucking hell. That's the most insulting thing you can say. Oh, the sources. Like, I would have much more respect for you if you actually attempted. YouTube won't let me post sources.
Let me just try if we pop it back.
To be honest, I wouldn't click them if you even did, because the amount of malware. I know that kind of paints me into a hole, but it's like, you know, you got to be careful on the internet. Much better than a source would be to explain how you came to that opinion, to be honest. Oh, okay. Lenovo.
I just had to.
All right.
I just had to.
Oh shit, we're gonna need earphones probably. Otherwise, the sound's gonna be all over the place like an echo
yeah,
chamber.
grab your earbuds.
Talk to the people. I'll get this.
Yeah, just getting it all set up, ready to go.
I promise the wait will be worth it.
Yeah, somebody else has asked. Tell me how I'm supposed to share a source. Oh, I don't know. Maybe like. Give us the name.
Rather than linking it, couldn't you just tell us?
Yeah, give us the name. Post a URL.
This doctor or political thinker thinks this. Like,
yeah, it would be so much. It would be so easy.
Presumably, these are sources that you would have found a second ago, and you're going to regurgitate to us. Why couldn't you just tell us?
Yeah, Thierry website link. Literally a shortened URL like would do it.
Nah.
It seems like the film just doesn't want to play while we've got like OBS open and shit.
All I'm going to say is if you're going to click on that shit, have an antivirus ready.
Yeah, I've got Windows Defender, it's fine.
These worms don't tend to be able to walk that straight sometimes. No pun intended.
True.
Is this one? Over here?
Yeah.
Over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just doesn't seem to want to play, even though I've asked it to. It's really pissing me off.
It's kind of game over if it can't, because they've got no other way of doing it.
Yeah, if it can't, we're probably just going to have to move on to a different topic, which is really annoying. I would rather not do that.
We kind of should have tested this before streaming.
You probably. God, this is so annoying.
I've got another plan.
What's
Open up a YouTube thing and see if it's on the internet already.
Alright, well, I'm going to just pop it out in case it decides to start doing some bullshit later on.
It's amazing how you guys have stuck around even though we're like not talking much. Like I actually appreciate it a lot, because like if I was watching this stream right now I probably would have bailed out and just not talking, you know. So it's intersection, obviously the X there.
Yeah.
I recognise her, yeah.
Is that the one?
Just play the first bit. Don't worry, we will screen share once we know what's up.
It says Grant on there.
Grant LaHood, yeah, it is. Okay, I guess all you need to do now is screen share the YouTube video, and
yeah, you know how to do that.
I think copyright might be okay then if somebody's just uploaded this straight to the internet.
Yeah, you would think.
Right. Thank you. By the way, who uploaded this? Can we just... I don't mind giving credit. Thank you, Deme Perez.
Deme Perez.
This is the bit, by the way, that I was thinking maybe...
Do you know how far it is?
In New Zealand, a child is born every 8 minutes. And the first question we ask, is it a boy or a girl? What if it's neither?
A child is either male or female, he can't be in between.
What if it's intersex?
You've never heard of it?
Nah, never heard of it at all.
What do you mean by intersex?
My parents were told that they couldn't tell what sex I was. And
Yeah, the thing. What's my sound on?
Oh, shit.
It's because the mic.
Technical difficulties. Yeah, but does that mean they'll be able to hear it?
Hopefully
That's the
not.
question. No, I mean the documentary, otherwise it's pointless.
Oh, yeah.
They'll need to hear it just as we do.
that they should just take me home, dress me in yellow and green, give me a nickname, and wait to see.
I can't hear him speaking.
This is super annoying.
Tonight might be a bit of a disaster with this part.
Sorry. Accidentally clicked on it.
Intersex people in New Zealand could be equal to the population of this place.
So what's it like to live in a world that has a binary male-female view of gender when you fit somewhere between the two? A world that has no awareness.
And taking place forever, in recent times medicine has had the ability to...
I think I know how they got around the copyright.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems that's also not going to happen either.
I think we might have to change plans, guys. You intersexual, so you get screwed, don't you?
So problematic. I mean, I can just pull up facts about intersexuality and I can talk about it for days.
Oh, look at that.
Really? Now? Yeah, no. Just tell it.
Will it work?
Just hang on. If it does, then cool.
Although, I mean, clearly we've got some copyright issue there. If it won't let you.
This is super annoying. Right, put the DVD in because I took it out. Remember? Cause
I'm just a bit worried that because of the that other guy uploaded it, but the audio was a bit fucked.
Yeah.
Which means that maybe. Although, what's the point in uploading it if you can't fucking hear the thing? Sorry, please talk about something interesting, because I...
Yeah, I'm just typing in the chat to DD Dede Bronius. Yeah.
What's this?
I wouldn't have a brony in your name, my dude. That's pretty queer.
Have we got another?
And it's the dude who said, "Oh,
we've got another fan, have we?"
It's the dude who said, "Tell me how I'm supposed to share a source." Like, you're really just insulting me as a scientist. To be honest, it's so fucking easy. You could literally get a URL, put it in a URL shortener, and post it in the chat.
God knows how we still get 3 viewers like concurrently.
That's funny.
Okay, so far so good.
But on the inside is mostly female, or vice versa.
How common do you think that would be?
I thought it would be very common at all.
I don't think it would be very common.
I'd say it'd be fairly rare.
How many babies are born with genitals that are so obviously in between male and female that a specialist team is called in? That would be about 1 in 1,500 to 1 in 2,000 children.
Is that right?
That's fairly substantial, isn't it?
They might be able to hear everything that's happening. We just can't.
More than 1 in 2,000, and that's a conservative estimate. That means there could be as many as 3 million intersex people living in this male-female world. So what's it like to live in a world that has a binary male-female view of gender when you fit somewhere between the two? A world that has no awareness or appreciation of intersex. A world in which you are invisible.
Because we need to screen share it, don't we? So yeah, go back to...
Now, I proudly identify 50 babies are born in the world every minute. And the first question we ask, is it a boy or a girl? Well, to put it more correctly, I was born with what was called ambiguous.
Female, it can be in between.
What if it's intersex?
What's that?
I think it's good though.
50 babies are born in the world every minute. And the first question we ask, is it a boy or a girl? What if it's neither?
There we go. Okay. I don't know how this is going to go, because it's incredibly quiet.
Just tell the people to turn their volume up. It is quite quiet, I'll admit.
There's only so much you can do there. I've been in streams before where people have told me to turn my volume up, and there's only so much you can do. You sure there's nothing else that you've got low?
Yeah, no, that's all high.
Give me both of them a minute. I'm just going to see how loud it is with both.
Is either or female, it can be in between.
What if it...
No, that's ridiculously quiet, even with both of them in.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out, because the audio, even coming through our headphones, it's quite quiet, so...
I'm thinking in OBS I could turn up the mic maybe, but
No,
how does one go about that?
I mean, they're all pretty much maxed at the moment anyway, so...
Advanced audio properties.
Desktop audio.
But it's plugged into the mic, isn't it, the headphones? Alright, hopefully we're not blowing anyone's head off.
Eardrums.
But I'm just going to see if that's made any material difference.
Intersex.
What's that?
Never heard of it?
No. Nah, never heard of it at all. What do you mean by intersex?
I was born in Aotearoa, New Zealand in 1953. The first words the midwife said were, "Oh my God, it's a hermaphrodite." Well, to put it more correctly, I was born with what was called ambiguous genitals. The doctors decided I was a boy and my parents named me Bruce. A year later, they were told I was actually a girl. I became Margaret. And then at age 8, I had surgery to rearrange my genitals and make my body look more feminine. Now, I proudly identify as neither male nor female.
Hi, my name's Marnie Mitchell and I'm an intersex person.
Intersex refers to a person whose body is not the standard male or the standard female type. The term encompasses over 30 different conditions that all originate prenatally during a fetus's sexual development. Intersex may refer to someone having genitals that are in between male and female. Or it might mean that somebody looks male on the outside, but on the inside is mostly female, or vice versa.
How common do you think that would be?
I thought it would be very common at all.
I don't think it would be very common.
I'd say it'd be fairly rare.
How many babies are born with genitals that are so obviously in between male and female that a specialist team is called in? That would be about 1 in 1,500 to 1 in 2,000.
That's really fucking annoying.
If anybody's got any life hacks here, then please let us know.
I guess what we're going to do as a backup...
Anyone who's used to using OBS.
I am going to flip over...
Preferably not somebody who's also a giant homophobic knobhead.
Nah. Do you know what?
We don't need any help from God, thanks.
We've had our first proper haters, though.
I know.
That's fun. That's like a milestone.
Popped my cherry on YouTube.
Yeah, that's like a milestone. Hang on, just checking. Tez, do we still sound okay?
There's always about 10 seconds lag. He might have had his computer do some funny moment again. You know what's really annoying though is if we don't actually get to a solution for this, then that's nearly enough an hour of us just fucking around.
Yeah, he said he gets to hear us.
Alright, well we are deeply sorry. Professionalism is not our strongest suit. We've learnt a lot today, I think.
We are only
1, just fuck the haters right off.
Yeah.
2, check that everything's going to work before you stream.
Yeah, I mean, we are only...
You told me the DVD player worked. To be fair, what if my one also had the same problem, though?
It did work, it's just it was prioritising... He said the audio from the video was a bit loud, though. So they're hearing it and we're not.
How the fuck does that work?
It's because you whacked the desktop audio up really high.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
You might want to turn that down. So Tej,
so we can barely hear it, but you guys have it blasting.
Yeah, so you can actually hear the documentary fine, but we can't.
Problem is, if we turn it down any more than we have, we can't hear it at all. We had to keep dead quiet. It's a good job those kids aren't out, otherwise we wouldn't hear a damn thing.
What funny.
Yes, I am Antifa.
We are very Antifa.
Just me, I'm the CEO of Antifa.
Yeah, we are very Antifa, and do you know what we're going to do? Because we're just, really scary trannies, we're going to come around, we're going to corrupt your mum, we're going to turn her into a lesbian.
Oh, God.
How do you feel?
That's the final defeat.
How do you feel about that?
You can't come back from that.
How do you feel about that? Your mum is now a lesbian with 2 trans folks. How do you feel? Alright, well, I'm just going to blast out some facts about intersexuality.
Yeah, you know what? If we can't watch a documentary, we're going to fucking talk about it. No one's going to silence us.
Yeah. Not even...
Teach us about...
Not even technical issues.
Sorry, I live in a village. No Antifa here. Oh, fuck off. Mate, I'm in Telford. Telford's a big village.
Are you really saying that you live in a village where nobody is against fascism?
Come on, man.
I think you're confused on what Antifa actually means, my guy.
Like, there's no Antifa in my village. Come on. The smallest villages have Antifa.
Yeah, okay, so...
As somebody found out yesterday.
Just to let you know, this information that I am taking is from the Intersex Society of North America, so... But it is still a little bit,
We barely care about politics. Well, maybe you should continue not caring and piss off. Sorry.
Okay, well, intersex it's a general term.
Are you Antifa?
We are...
If that's your grasp on politics, you probably shouldn't carry on, you know?
No, dude, we call ourselves Legion, for we are many.
Oh, it's Shadow Man.
I just want to scare him. But yeah, okay, so intersex it's a general term that applies to a variety of different conditions, such as Klinefelters, XYY, etc. There's quite a few.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that guy to come through and tell you that it's only 1%. Why should we care?
It's actually 2%.
Don't care if it's 0.1. We should still care.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
But it's basically it.
Do you hate what tryhards? You're trying very hard to fucking make me hate you. I tell you that much.
Yeah, you're trying hard, doll, but we really don't care.
Like, I don't get it because they're doing this thing where they're trying to like. I can't tell if you're trying to be nice or if you're just being deliberately vague.
I think they're doing that thing where they play stupid so that we feel sorry for them.
I mean, if I'm being too hard on you, then by all means tell me that you don't mean any harm. But like, it's difficult to. I said try hard. It's not. What the fuck is the difference? Is this like try hard but times 3? Like,
does he mean triads?
Triads. Oh, you know what? I'm done with this. Just talk about the people that matter, okay?
Yeah. There you go.
Goodbye, Dee Dee.
Not me, the other one. But yeah, so intersex is a term that generally refers to a number of conditions where someone is born with a reproductive or sexual anatomy that doesn't fit typically into male or female. Now, that can mean they have a very wide mix. It's not just like everybody has a bit of penis or a bit of vagina. It varies vastly.
There's a big variance.
Now, what I will say is this topic gets brought up a lot, especially when it comes to transphobia. Even though intersexuality and transphobia aren't even particularly related, they're not even really tangential to each other. But when it comes to a lot of transphobic discourse, you will always see people in the comments saying things like, there's only man and woman, there's only two. And that's
not. We're not even talking about non-binary. That's a different thing.
Yeah, it's a completely separate thing. But when you say there's only
Dwayne Blasts with what the fuck are you on about?
They're just talking about shit that's not relevant.
Get out of my chat.
So, for example, a person might be born appearing female on the outside, while what one would consider typically female. But on the inside, they could have mostly male anatomy. So instead of having ovaries, they could have testes, or they could not have a uterus or a womb, etc. But they still appear female outwardly. So it's quite a complex thing biologically. We don't even necessarily know much about what causes it. Most people will say that...
So what though? You want to tell me about enforcing an agenda on a child?
Yeah.
How about the corrective surgery that intersex people have to go through?
When they're children and cannot consent.
They have no choice. So you want to tell me we're forcing an agenda on kids? Like, heterosexuality is forced on kids. Like, as well as, you know, the gender box. The binary is forced upon children. You know? And it's damaged a lot of lives. I wish we could have watched this documentary because they go in salient detail into all of that. There's people telling you, like, in tears, telling you that the doctors fucked them up, and they wish they could turn back time.
What I will say is that intersex in and of itself is a term that it's a category that is socially constructed, but it is based on real biological variations among human beings. Not all human beings have XX or XY chromosomes. That is a fact. And whether people want to deny that or not, that's their own game. But you can't literally deny the existence of something. And like I think we briefly mentioned this statistic before. but 2% of the world's population are intersex, which if you take the current world population...
That's still a shitload of people.
Yeah, if you take the current world population, that's approximately 158 million people. That's a lot of people who you are trying to deny existence to, who you are trying to say, no, you're a man or a woman, when really they are both or neither.
On principle, denying the existence of just one of those people is bad enough. But,
yeah.
But even if it's like the tiniest of minorities, it doesn't give you free rein to just write them off.
Basically, what we're trying to say is the existence of people outside of the binary destroys the binary in and of itself. Yeah. If there is somebody who exists who is outside of the binary, then it is no longer a binary. That binary is destroyed. So But
contrary to popular belief, that does not mean that you suddenly you're forced to identify as anything else other than whatever you want. You can still be a man or a woman, that's fine. No one's saying you can't be.
Because sex and gender are different.
All we're asking people to do is just recognise the world is a bit... We know a bit better these days than to just think that things are so simple, because the world keeps on proving to us that it's not. Oh, I wonder if they found another way to fuck with me.
Sorry, I'm just trying to pull out like a really decent list of all the known forms of intersexuality, because there's quite a few. Some are more common than others.
No, it's just it's one of those scams that's going around. It's DPD this time. We missed your delivery. I'm like, there's nothing in the post. Oh, there's a lot about that going out at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
The weird, like, delivery scam.
Give me a hot second. Just trying to find, because I found an exact paper on it that I'm trying to find. But I forgot to save it because I'm stupid.
I feel like we've kind of let a lot of people down because I made a big deal about that.
Yeah, it sucks that we couldn't get it to like work, but we could barely hear it.
I should know my place, to be honest. Making big promises to people I can't keep.
Yeah. Okay, what I'm going to talk about here is only the 6 most common karyotypes in humans. Karyotypes being your chromosomes, basically. Okay. Now, like I said, these are the 6 most common. There are more, and that is something I would really like to highlight for people, because not only do most people think that their high school level of biology is fact, it's wrong.
Well, that's because in school they try to simplify it so that it's easier to grasp. But just because it's been simplified does not mean that's all there is.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Obviously, if you go deeper into the field of science and biology and stuff, you'll realise that there's a lot of shit they didn't tell you in school that is real and not some big agenda that they've been told to spout. It's reality. It's just when you're a kid, you can't really grasp those concepts very well, so they try and simplify it to you.
But yeah, so...
Which unfortunately reinforces the binary.
So these 6 most common forms, again, bearing in mind there are actually more, is where you just have an X chromosome. This is known as Turner's syndrome. That's roughly, depending on the country, anywhere from 1 in 2,000 to 1 in 5,000 people. Still a lot of people. You've got XX, of course, which is the most common form of female. It is not the only form of female, because Turner syndrome is technically a form of female, even though it's an intersexuality. It's complex. The wording is complex. Then you've got XXY, which is roughly 1 in 500 to 1 in 1,000 people. That's called Klinefelter's syndrome. They're people who typically look quite what one would assume to be feminine, but they actually have large amounts of masculine hormones and also typically male anatomy. There's quite a few people who have actually spoken about this in various documentaries that you could probably find online. So it's a really interesting one. Yeah, here we are harkening back to the fact that the documentary didn't want to work for us. It's really sad. You've got XY, which is obviously the most common form of male. You've got...
That's the... For any smart guys in chat, by the way, those are my chromosomes.
They might not even be. Like, you don't even know. You've not been tested.
I don't know. They always like to remind me that I'm biologically male. So, this would be their time to shine.
But the thing is, that's something I'll get onto in a hot second, because I've got a hot take for that shit. Okay, and then you've got XYY, which is roughly 1 in 1,000 people. It's actually... there were psychological studies that tried to associate XYY with people in the prison population because it was believed that the extra Y chromosome caused increased aggression in people who had it, but the study wasn't conclusive. It's bollocks. Don't listen to it. And then the final one here is triple XY, which is a little bit rarer, anywhere from 1 in 18,000 to 1 in 50,000 births. But again, that's still a lot of people when you consider there's over, well, in fact, at this point, there's nearly 8 billion people on this planet. So, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, like I said, it is important to know that those are only the 6 most common forms. There are more. And so any person who says there's only 2 genders is one, they're tripping over at the first hurdle because sex and gender are different things. They're talking about sex, we're talking about gender. They don't understand. They don't get it. But then when you tell them, actually, you know, sex and gender are different, and they say, oh, well, actually, fine then, I meant sex, there's only 2 sexes, they're also factually incorrect on that standpoint. Regardless of whether you look at it sociologically, psychologically, biologically, even chemically, even, do you know what, even like anthropologically, they are completely factually incorrect when they say something like there's only 2 genders or there's only 2 sexes. Completely wrong on all stances. And regardless, for some of them, regardless of how many facts you give them, they just cry. They cry, they whinge, they refuse to listen because, again, they seem to think that I feel like a large part of this comes from male audacity. They seem to think that because I am not a male, that their high school education outweighs my actual degree. It's really quite audacious and insulting. But anyway, what was I going to talk about again? Oh yeah, the idea when people will say, well, you're still biologically male. Again, that's incorrect. Because the assignment of things like male and female to chromosomes it's arbitrary. It's based on fucking nothing. Who looked at one...
I'm not the one who holds those opinions.
No, but it's me. Because, again, coming at this from a biological standpoint, I'm not trying to say that sex doesn't exist. That is an objective fact. It exists. But what I am trying to...
a social contract.
Yeah, but what I am trying to say that saying that one sex is male and one sex is female is completely arbitrary. It's based on nothing. Who looked at an animal and said, that one's a boy, that one's a girl? Who first came up with those words? Language is nonsense. Like, it has no factual standing on anything. So to say somebody is biologically male is false. Because what they are, like in your case, if we assume that your chromosomes are in fact XY when they might not be, you are not biologically male.
I mean, by the law of averages, it probably is.
Yeah, by the law of averages, it probably is. But, you know, a study performed in the UK found that 97 out of 100 people, so basically 97% of people who had XYY syndrome didn't even know they had it. So, yeah, sorry, me just blurting out facts because, yeah, brain. Anyway, so yeah, when somebody says something like you're biologically male or you're biologically female, your chromosomes say this, they fucking don't. Saying that this chromosome is a girl chromosome and this one's a boy chromosome is bollocks. You've assigned words that have no factual or objective meaning to something that is factually objective.
Oh, well. Thanks for trying to cheer me up.
No, I'm just saying, you are not biologically male. You are biologically XY, assuming that that is what your chromosomes are. That is what you are. You're not biologically male. You're biologically XY, because the assignment of these words is arbitrary at best.
Okay.
That's my rant over.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just a bit bummed over the plan not working out.
Yeah, about the intersection thing.
Dickheads just popping into chat for no reason.
Honestly, I'm not mad about the dickheads. I think it's fun to have haters.
No, but it's just, you know, they're unpredictable, and they have massive hate boners for like people they don't even know. Which means it's not so much. I'm not so much worried about what they do now. It's like later on when I go on Twitter and I find that they've, you know, they've all congregated there and let's take out the trash again. And it's like, you know, I'm tired. Like, I've taken out the trash already today. Leave me in peace. I don't really want to have to do it multiple times a day. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I get it.
You know, again, this is their massive, like, they love freedom of speech up until it's a couple of gays, you know, and then it's like, oh, shut the fuck up. We're going to try and scare you into not streaming anymore because we're threatened by your speech. I'm like, yeah, lovely, nice plan.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. They seem to think again, it's audacious. They seem to think they hold more power over us than they actually do.
Yeah. Oh well, you get used to it.
But yeah, onto a.
I think I've handled it better than I could have. You know, there's I could have handled that a lot worse. Like,
I mean, yeah, we could have been like angry and upset about it, but I just think
I'm
it's
not
funny.
an angry person in nature.
No, I know you're not. You know, I just think it's funny that people will take time out of their day to just throw hate at something, but then think that we're the fragile ones.
Well, they're trying to make the argument to us that we don't need pride, aren't they? And
Yeah.
they're failing spectacularly at it.
Yeah,
so,
none of them could cite sources.
Because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, last time when they're bringing up the church and, well, I mean, you brought up the church, but, they're bringing up, like, the P word, as they call it.
Mm.
And I'm like, I'm not speaking on behalf of them, I'm speaking on behalf of the gay community.
Yeah.
Those two are mutually exclusive. I'm not king of the pedos.
No.
I'd be, that wouldn't be a very good thing to be, would it? I mean, regardless of what some of these people think. Assuming they're people and not just bots, I don't know, but...
the funniest thing is that some of them, if you notice...
I'm much more proud of being, like... I'm not saying I'm any kind of king or queen or anything, but I'd much rather speak for the queer community than pedos, because I don't believe they're worth my words, but, that's just the way I roll. But if you want to put me in that role, then go right ahead. But
no, the funniest thing is that...
I don't really think they've got a club, though, really.
You can see that some of them carried on commenting in the same way they did, but from different accounts.
That's because they're not interested in your answers. No. They just want to give you the message.
What I'm trying to say is that some of them...
They're purely there for the rhetoric, not the
What I mean is that some of them, after having had the one account hidden in the chat for obvious reasons, carried on talking on a completely different account but on the same thing and in the same manner, meaning these sad motherfuckers have got multiple accounts just to yell at gay people.
Yeah.
Like, that's really sad. That's honestly really tragic that you have nothing better to do.
That reminds me of how, like, petty I used to be when I used to do shit like that. Stupid.
It's like, imagine letting people who you
Did I do it right? Is that the 6ix9ine thing? I don't know. Right.
But just imagine letting people that you're so pressed about live in your head rent-free like this. Yeah. Like, you could see us.
Gotta admit, like, you guys got more mad at me than my fucking stepdad, and he got mad too. What?
We're right there. You see, we're right at the back of your eyes, living in there rent-free. Deal with it.
Rent-free, just the way we like it. No landlords in our world.
I mean, I guess since unfortunately we can't
watch... I am Antifa, just me on my own.
Yeah, us as individuals. I'm just
going to go, me, myself, to Antifa HQ to deliver my...
Yeah, do you know, we've been together 3 years and you never told me that you were the CEO of Antifa. How could you?
I am, and I'm the only... no employees, it's just me. It's one person,
you are Antifa,
big building... And occasionally I'll just turn up, multiply with myself, creating an optical illusion, setting fire to every dustbin in sight.
You just reproduce like by mitosis, like
pretty much, yeah.
Creating more
I just
Antifas.
do like some kind of Pokemon thing where I just turn into like hundreds of me, like that bit in like Matrix Reloaded where one Agent Smith becomes like everybody.
Yeah,
that's me. That's me when I want to cause trouble. When I go out to Berkeley, I go out in style, bitch.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, I mean, anyone knows that that's pathetic. Like, are you Antifa? It's like, Antifa is a concept. It's not a group. It's not
an organization.
It's not an organization. It's an idea. You either are or you aren't.
Yeah, you are either against fascism or for fascism.
It's as simple as, if you don't like fascism, then you are Antifa. And a lot of these right-wing chuds say that they don't like fascism and they're not racist.
But then they shit on Antifa.
You're Antifa. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, it's like...
That doesn't exist.
Do you just absorb people into your like Antifa-like body?
It's like everyone thinks that Antifa's got a uniform. It's like
no,
they just we all wear black for a reason, obviously. But I say they, it's
we are Antifa, for we are many.
Well, I am anti-fascist, but like, I don't exactly go to like protests or anything. I'm not an active Antifa member as such.
On the internet, maybe we are.
I said it again. Member, like they're getting into my head.
Yeah. Don't let them get into.
No, I mean,
head.
I'm not like I'm not out there like doing the thing as such.
It's kind of hard to with COVID, to be honest. Like,
yeah,
we're in a global pandemic.
Scuppered plans a bit. Maybe that was the plan. No conspiracy theories
in this state.
No. Hey, speaking of which, here's a thing. We might as well, since the plan failed, we might as well just chit chat and dip in and out.
And then we'll move in.
I've got my first COVID jab booked on the 18th. So
yes, she does.
I'm not going to tell you where it is though, because the internet's just a weird place to be just dropping like really personal information in. But yeah,
on a slightly different note, I on the same day I'm meant to be getting my degree class.
Yeah, it's a good day for all.
And just as another side note, I am fully vaccinated. I have had both of mine, so fuck yeah.
I mean, you're not me, so you'd be better to answer this. Am I becoming defensive, like generally on the stream? Am I like?
You're not being defensive. You're just pissed off because one.
Am I just screeching at the microphone and telling everyone to fuck off? Because I'm not trying to be like that.
Let me explain what's going on with her neurodivergency for a second, because being in her own head, she doesn't realize it. What she's annoyed about right now is that we spent way too much time talking to the haters.
Well, it's content. I wanted to, you want a good stream where like all of it is entertainment and it's fire and it's lit. But now people are going to watch it after it's gone live, and there's just going to be that awkward bit in the middle where they'd be like, "Fuck, all's happening? What's going on?"
Yeah.
And yeah, that's annoying.
Which is frustrating.
Because I can't even be asked to edit that out because the stream's already going to be like 3 hours long by the time we finished it.
Which is frustrating her. And another thing that's frustrating, again, she's autistic. We had a plan. That plan has now been thwarted.
And if you know anything about autistic people, it's like the plan has to work, otherwise the whole day is ruined.
Which is why she's not like being defensive or attacking y'all because she's like got a thing against you. It's just plans have been fucked and she's not happy.
Although I do have something against you if you're trying to like invalidate my existence or tell me that my friends are somehow a threat to you, like, or your way of life,
or children in their case. Fuck off. Like trying to claim that we're a threat to children. It's like okay, it's not like I mean,
if they're loud enough and they're annoying enough, then I am. But
it's not
for
like
different reasons.
It's not like I've been legally checked out and proven to not be a threat to children or anything. It's not like that's an objective factor.
It's also like not like I've got like a record or anything that proves that I'm a threat to kids. Like they've just pulled it out of their ass because that's their response to anything that's different. Because that's what they've been told to think by knobheads like Ben Shapiro and
Fem Shapiro,
whatever, and Alex Jones and the like. Just it's all like, oh, look over there, look at them, they're weird. Let's talk about them for the next 5 years.
Again, we live in their heads rent free. All the time, just existing. We live in their heads.
Like you said, therefore we are many. We fight for them, they fight for us. We're a big club.
We really
are. If you want to take one of us down, then you're just going to get... We're like a Hydra, Take one of us down, 10 of us pop up in its place. Not through indoctrination, like you think we do, but through actual grassroots.
I think the thing for the Hydra is cut off one head, 2 more shall take its place.
Fuck off.
Sorry, I like Greek mythology.
Mythology expert.
I am a little bit. I am really into mythology. I am really into mythology. Anyway, we're gonna move on from this because you've got it out now. You've said you're mad that plans have changed.
It's just a weird funky night,
Well, I mean, did you ever expect the Pride stream to go completely streamlined? Pun not intended.
No, it never does. But it's just like for once I thought we could do something slightly more interesting than just talk with a basic thumbnail. I'm sorry. I know that you made it. It's just I thought that we could do. I thought we could like reach the next level tonight. Do something a bit different. We're gonna have to figure out how to do it eventually.
But we will, yeah.
I'm getting quieter now.
She's whispering because she's upset.
Oh.
Anyway, so we're gonna move on to the next topic, and then after this, we've got the final topic, which is gonna be talking about queer icons. So that's gonna be fun.
All the people that DD Brownius hates, and Naked Cowboy, from what it seems, and God hates everyone.
Literally. But yeah, so the next topic we're talking about.
I do have Christian friends. They're not gonna like that, but well.
Yeah, my mum's a Christian.
No, you didn't.
But anyway, yeah. So.
No comment.
But yeah, so we're gonna be talking about flags. Obviously, we've had this new flag that was recently dropped a couple of days ago.
New flag dropped.
So, and I think, like I said, the topic of flags is something. The topic of flags is something that obviously, when it comes to cishet people, is it gets them really riled. They don't like all of our pretty colours. It upsets them. And
it's
kind
of the point.
Yeah, to be fair, even within the queer community, there's...
Why the fuck do you think we like glitter so much? It's the most annoying thing in the world.
It gets literally everywhere. You can't get it off you.
Fuck with us, you get glitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a reason glitter is part of the gay community. It's because we use it like like a grenade against homophobia.
Remember, people, please use biodegradable glitter, not the plastic stuff.
Yeah, the hardcore stuff is actually bad.
Yeah, it's bad for the environment. Use your biodegradable glitter.
We have to be like environmentally conscious queers now. We can't just be like filthy sort of planet fucking gays, you know. I don't know, that's sounded bad, I'm sorry.
Anyway, moving on to flags. Like I said,
we have to be good and well behaved.
Like I said, obviously we know that cishet people are very angry about flags a lot of the time. They don't like it. They think that we're shoving them in their face. Yada
They've got
yada.
their own flag.
Yeah. Yada yada.
And I'm like, yeah, and there's yours.
Yada yada. Yada yada rhetoric. But even within the community itself, there's quite a lot of discourse surrounding flags. Some people absolutely love them. Some people are like, ooh, what's the point? We just have the rainbow one. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
you know,
you hate every single flag except for the LGBT flags.
That's not true. I love all the flags.
No, you see them all as like especially the St. George's colonial, which I kind of partly agree with you on. But I've never seen you really like love any kind of flag.
I like the Welsh flag.
Other than the gay one.
I like the Welsh flag.
That's because you are Welsh, you fanny.
Well, yeah, still that's a flag that I like.
I sense a contradiction. We've had this talk off stream by the way.
We genuinely have.
I'm just treading all ground. She knows how I feel about all that.
Yeah, true.
Sorry, they know how I feel. Fuck's sake, tonight is not going well.
Any pronouns, remember? I told you I don't care. Oh yeah, that's a thing, by the way. I know I think when we first started this stream series, I was like, they them pronouns. But I actually don't give a shit.
Well, I try my best, I'm not.
No, but basically
it requires hardly any effort at all to just kind of use the right pronouns.
Basically, I don't really care about pronouns. You can call me a man, you can call me a woman, you can call me they, you can call me an it if you want. I don't really care. You're not going to get to me with pronouns. It's not going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, I'm not trying to. I mean,
I'm not saying.
I can't say the same for everybody else, but
I'm not saying it to you. I'm saying it to people in the audience who may be homophobic and want to try and misgender me. You literally can't. I am invulnerable to misgendering. Deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, because we live in a small part of the UK, so it's kind of like we deal with it every single day, all day long. So it's not like you can get to us with that. Yeah, it's not like someone's
really
going to call me, "Oh, you're a boy," I'll be like, "Oh my god," I have to now start living my life differently. We were in the Aldi earlier, and some woman.
She said hello, ladies, to both of us,
and then immediately corrected herself
and was like, "Sorry, and gentlemen."
Clocked me as someone who seemed masculine, and I just didn't give a fuck because I'm like, I'm sure they didn't mean it. It's just she's at the end of the day, how the fuck is she supposed to know?
But yeah, anyway, so on the topic of flags,
I don't exactly look the most feminine in the world just yet. I'm on the way though. I mean, that's a recent picture, the one in the thumbnail. Yeah, I look a bit more female than I used to.
From Christmas.
I don't know. Hey, naked cowboy, do I look ugly? Do you want to tell me? Oh, fuck, I'm sorry, I blocked you. Oh. I'm sorry, was that? I'm a bitch.
She truly is. It's the estrogen. It makes her sassy.
I'm such a bitch.
Anyway, on the topic of flags.
I'm ashamed of myself. That was cruel.
Obviously.
I'm sorry. They've got a point, We're too rough on the white people.
We are. Sorry. We are white.
Can
I talk about the bloody flags, woman?
Okay.
Thank you. Jesus. Sometimes you got to be very firm with her, okay? Sorry. Anyway, so.
Teach me.
Stop it. This is. See, it's weird because y'all are only hearing this, not seeing it.
We've lost a concurrent viewer.
Oh well. Sometimes.
I'm a simp.
Shut up. Let me talk about the goddamn flags.
That's probably what they were going to call me next if I didn't block them. You're a simp, and I'm like, I don't know.
Anyway. So y'all obviously know the most recognized symbol of pride is the rainbow flag. We stole the rainbow.
You were probably about to mention, aren't you, that you told me earlier that it's changed. Even the rainbow flag has not always been the same.
Yeah, this just as a note to people who are like, oh, they changed the flag again. I'm upset. Why can't we just use...
bastard, yeah.
Why can't we just use the rainbow one? Well, this is something I'm going to get into in a second. So, the thing is, it made its debut at a San Francisco event, and the original flag actually had 8 colours, not the 6 we know now. It had also so hang on. So it had hot pink, it had red, it had orange, it had yellow, it had green, it had blue, it had indigo, and it had violet.
Right.
What we did instead was we removed the hot pink, we made the blue slightly darker, and changed the purple we currently have because, again, indigo and violet were the same. So we kind of merged the two together to make this. So when
people... To be honest, that's like really, like... Wow. Like, really, it's just two bits though, isn't it? It's like...
Yeah, but the point is, people will always cry like, why have they added the trans stuff? Why did they add the black and brown? Why have they added intersex?
I know, the flag... it's always been in a state of change.
Yeah, it's like the flag you currently use with your 6 colours, that isn't even the original flag either, people.
Like I said, I'm not really like a giant flag person, so like I'm not... You're not going to find me on a hill dying, you know, to take stuff out or add stuff. I'm just going to be like, whatever, you do what you want with the flag. It's your thing, you know.
But yeah,
to be honest, I take more pride in the trans flag than I do the pride flag, because that changes all the time and new stuff is added and changed, and that's fine. That's always in a state of change. But the trans flag will always be familiar to me, so that's why that's my flag.
It's literally in your skin, girl.
Like... Pretty much, yeah. I've got my tattoo. I mean, you guys can't see it, and there's no way of showing you. But yeah, I've got like a proper work of like. Yeah,
you could put it on your Twitter and tell them to go look at your Twitter.
It's like, it's a threat to everybody. It's that lefty.
It truly is.
Like, you look at it right, and
it turns people into cucks when they look at it. It's that powerful.
It's just so powerful that you won't even think of like demeaning the democracy we live in. It's that good.
We're at the point of where we're just being like more sarcastic than anything.
I'm sorry.
It's
the night is getting long.
Yeah,
and by now we would have done with that documentary, and no, I just feel like I owe a giant like level of the intersexual community. Like I've kind of fucked them because I was. That was going to be my thing. I was going to bring to the table, and it was going to be like my chance to finally correct some of the shit I used to say. And no, it didn't work. So
it's sad.
Because really, all I've done tonight is tell you to check out Against Me, and that's about it, right? And fuck all else.
Well, you can probably.
You've done most of the research for
you
this.
could probably go online and either purchase or stream somewhere the documentary. It's called Intersection, but the C in intersection is an X instead.
The reason I thought it was really obscure and we should do it is because I found it in a charity shop for like 20p. And
it's award-winning. I'm sure you'll find it somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back onto the topic of flags. Obviously, the original from 1978 was changed to the 6 stripe that most people know, which is then, changed because you had the Philly flag where they added the black and brown stripe at the top. Then it was changed to the Progress flag where the black and brown stripe were put with the trans stripes at the side. And now, obviously, as of a couple of days ago, the intersex triangle has also been put in there. It's still in play.
I know.
But yeah.
That was behind the scenes material. We shouldn't have had that. I'm just being a dick. Yeah, you go carry on. Whatever. It's good.
But obviously there are also individual flags for each different, identity, sexuality, gender, romantic attraction.
Everyone's well aware of that.
Yeah, but what I'm going to get onto is
That's what this kind of new flag is. It's kind of like some of that individual kind of flags. They've just kind of thrown them in with the pride flag as the most recent version of that.
But the thing is, we get a lot of aggro both inside and outside of the community for the number of flags we have for all different identities. But the thing is,
oh come on, these are supposed to be the gamers. They're the kinds of people that would make a flag for their own like fictional character in the game they play. Yeah. I've played Diablo 3. I know how you lot are fucking. Yeah. You guys go nuts over the flags. But you pay money to fucking Blizzard, like through what's it called? When you microtransactions. There we go. You pay microtransactions so you can have a fancier flag, and you're telling us we can't have a flag. Fuck you.
But yeah, that's the point.
Come on.
Like there is.
You've played Diablo 3.
Yeah,
you know how
even within the community, it's a topic of it's quite tense sometimes. But the thing is, it's important to note that the queer community, we're not a monolith. We're not the fucking same.
Well, apparently we do. We're all like hive mind,
But no, we're not a monolith. We don't all think the same. We don't all identify the same. We don't all act the same.
Fact,
We are still individual people.
There's so much infighting amongst the LGBTQIA community, because you've got like your white sort of gay men who think it's all about them, and then you've got the trans community are up in arms because there's loads of different types of them. You have the true scum who believe that you have to be like
trans medicalist types.
You have to be on the pills. You've got to do this, and this, and this, and this, and then you can be trans, but not otherwise. And that goalpost always seems to get harder and harder. So, because it's always the case that they just want to like make it harder and harder for other people after they've done it themselves, and that's their way. They like to always be the top tran at the top of the hill. The most. I'm the only one. I'm the special one. And it's really stupid. And then you've got there's lesbians they fight all the time as well, because you've got the nice ones that like tend to just be themselves and they like what they like, and then you've got the ones that are militant about it and try to get the trans thrown out. TERFs as we call them. It's all a big rigmarole. Everywhere's got their own dark corner in the LGBTQIA community. But I would say that's no different to any other group in life. Like, you guys aren't monoliths either. Your standard group of people, put you all in a room, regardless of who you are, you're all going to have differences, and you're all going to have things you're going to fight over. The only difference between us, I think, and like a bunch of white people in a room, fucking cishet, your standard person, your average bloke and your average lady in a room, is that we've just got like a really long annoying acronym for our group, and you guys haven't. That's it.
And we've got lots of flags.
That's all. Yeah, we've got lots of flags, but a flag really isn't like, it's no means to get aggro about it.
Yeah.
I don't know, my brain's starting to fail again because it's getting late, but you know what I mean. Like, infighting is just natural. It's part of how. Unfortunately, it's just that it's what you get with communities. The bigger a community gets, the more infighting there's going to be.
Yeah.
And you're going to get the ones who agree with such, and you're going to get the ones that don't. And history tends to just kind of go with it, and then the ones who end up on top tend to be the ones that carry the discourse on. Thankfully, in the LGBTQIA community, we find that love always wins. So when we get a toxic corner of our community, we
call them out on it. We hold them accountable
they tend to just melt away after a certain period. I certainly hope that TERFs don't become a big part of the lesbian community, for example. Although sadly, some parts of the country, that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah.
But yeah. That said, I do have like lesbian friends that are lovely people, as I do with every other group. Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, so we're going to move on to the queer icons, because this is the fun bit. This is the bit where there might be some people who didn't even know that these people were queer. This is a sort of
queer icon top trumps, if you will. If there was ever a top trumps deck made of queer icons, this would be the lot.
We've already mentioned Marsha P, technically also Andy Warhol by like tangentially.
Yep, unfortunately.
By association.
I mean, he was a weird artist, but I don't think that's got anything to do with him being gay. So him being gay is completely separate to how much of a knob he was.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
There was a lot of straight artists that were even worse. Let's be honest.
Salvador Dali.
What's wrong with Dali? What did he do?
Massive misogynist.
You got the dirt on him.
Massive.
Got receipts.
Massive misogynist and a racist.
Fair enough.
Picasso as well, huge misogynist.
Can't all be winners.
No, I know, it's really sad. But yeah, so we've already mentioned Marsha P, Alan Turing, Sylvia Rivera, Little Nas, and Laura Jane.
Yep, so Sirian McKellen.
Yeah, so next person, Sirian McKellen, as those of you may know him mostly as Magneto from X-Men.
Or Gandalf,
Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White in Lord of the Rings.
From the Peter Jackson trilogy. He's in other stuff too.
He's in plenty of other things, but those are his two like biggest roles. Those are what most people know him for. Fun fact: my mum has met Sirian McKellen. Just putting it out there. Pretty cool shit.
Your mum's met everyone.
It's pretty cool. She met him at Manchester Pride like years ago when she went with my cousin.
Thrilling.
Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, so just as a random side note, I just want to point out for the humans, X-Men is in fact queer coded, so if you're a homophobe and you're watching X-Men, you need to stop.
You know, there's that scene where what's her name?
Rogue.
No, the one who turns blue. Mystique, she's on that helicopter with that senator.
You're the reason I was afraid to go to school as a child.
Exactly, and that's obviously a queer coded message.
Yeah.
Because mutant is kind of code for gay, for queer.
And they're trying to cure them.
Marvel, as much as some people might not like to hear this, Stan Lee was quite a progressive guy. So, so when it came to designing a lot of the superheroes, a lot of them had messages. I've got one in my head that is canonically queer in some comics, but I can't remember her name. I don't think she's in X-Men. I think there's some other. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, it should matter, but I can't remember the name. So
yes. But so in terms of Sir Ian McKellen, obviously having Sir in front of his name, he is knighted. And
proper gentleman.
You were talking about the apology he got from the Queen.
Yeah, he's fucking old. He's ancient, which means that when the Queen was passing out apologies for the criminalisation of gay activities during the 60s, 70s, and most of the 80s and 90s, Sir Ian McKellen was actually still alive to receive one. Because Sir Ian McKellen is old enough to remember when being gay really wasn't a good time. Because he was born pre-World War II, weren't he? Was he a little kid?
1939, so the year it started.
Yeah, so yeah, as a baby he would have been hearing nothing but bombs, and then as growing up after the war, homophobia didn't just disappear after World War II, obviously. A lot of those scars stuck around. So...
But yeah, so we stand Sir Ian McKellen, and X-Men is gay, so if you like X-Men and you're a homophobe, then too bad. Sorry. Then
you have to go home. I'm sorry, you've had too much to drink. Go home.
Obviously, next one, everybody knows Lady Gaga. Now, contrary to...
Gaga, mama. I'm gonna watch this stream back. I'm gonna listen to that bit, and I'm gonna cringe my ass off.
That's not actually how it goes. Like, you're just... You didn't even get it right. Extra embarrassment. But obviously everybody fucking knows who Lady Gaga is.
I'm a metalhead. I don't really listen to much of Lady Gaga.
I love Gaga.
Despite how much I respect her.
I love Gaga, just saying. Bit obsessed. But she's also problematic. So, but, yeah.
You're definitely winning your badges tonight, aren't you? Trying to get all the tick sheet done. Fucking hell.
But anyway, yeah, everybody knows Gaga. And the thing is, most people think that she's just like a really good straight ally, but she's fucking not. The bi-erasure she has to face is ridiculous. She has explicitly said in multiple interviews, especially early in her career, that she loves women and she is attracted to women. She is a bisexual woman. Now, can you just not with the, like, heterofying
just
of her?
assuming that when a bisexual person is with somebody of the other gender, that they suddenly change their mind.
Yeah, like, just stop it.
Hovis is a kind of bread, and it's not one or the other, it's both. It doesn't stop being both if you put it in the same aisle as the white bread, okay? Sorry, some people are just...
Yeah, I can understand the analogy.
This is low IQ issues here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about most of you, by the way. I'm talking about that small group. I think God is God. I want God to be here so that can apply to him. I don't mean God the deity, I just mean that prick from earlier.
But yeah, so everybody knows Gaga. I don't even need to get into it, but she is a bisexual woman, and y'all need to just stop erasing that. Like, she's not straight, okay? She is a queer icon who's actually queer, not an ally. Stop it. Anyway, next on the list.
True. I can't do it like Vosh does.
Anyway, next on the list.
I just simp for Vosh.
You always simp for Vosh. You have a Facebook page called Simping for Vosh.
You made that joke a bit too obvious. That's exactly where I was going. Like, no, never mind.
I know, I'm telling you.
No one knows that page exists because, like I said, I was going to do something with it and then never did anything with it. So there's a load of people in there just like, I'm never going to post. No one's going to post. It's like a ghost town. So it's more like simping with nobody. Which is impossible.
Anyway, the next queer
Except if you're the Antifa. personified.
Anyway, the next queer icon is another one that basically everybody's going to know. Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen himself, who, as we all know, was a victim of the AIDS crisis.
By the way, it's funny how many people assume that he was British. And, I mean, he did have a British passport, so yeah, I mean, he lived in Britain. But he was actually born in Zanzibar.
Yeah.
So he has Zanzibar heritage as well as British.
Yeah. I'm
not saying he's not British, I'm just saying...
No, he's
not just British. He's got, like, a rich history.
He's, like, multinational.
Yeah. I mean, because when he came over to Britain, he was working at an airport and he would move like people's luggage, and he had to deal with a lot of racism, of course, because back in the day that was just how it was. Unfortunately,
he's also mocked for his overbite a lot.
But yeah, like, so people always assumed he was British, and it's like,
but yeah, no.
Well, kind of yeah, but kind of no. He was born in Zanzibar.
But yeah, no. He
So he's British and then some.
Yeah.
Like most people.
Spicy British.
Look like Freddie.
But yeah, as you know,
massive gay icon.
He was gay, but he did sometimes date women, like...
Yeah, he fell in love with one particular woman who he gave his entire fortune to after he died.
Yeah, we always say...
He did love at least one woman, so I would say bisexual.
Yeah, we always say he's gay, but I think bisexual would be a more accurate term, but however he self-identified, basically. And yeah, as you know, he's one of our famous queer folk who was a victim of the AIDS crisis, as people call it.
Yeah.
So, rip.
R.I.P.
I low-key do recommend you watch the Bohemian Rhapsody film. It wasn't that bad. It doesn't talk about the bad stuff.
It could have been so much better, though.
It could have been more, but it was still good.
Can you imagine if we got Sacha Baron Cohen?
That's Freddie Mercury.
I love Rami Malek, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, I love Rami Malek.
I love Rami Malek, but the one they were planning with Sacha Baron Cohen as Freddie, that one was supposed to be far edgier. It was supposed to be like the real life of Freddie, because Freddie wasn't an angel. He was naughty. He was... Yeah. God, he was like taking lines off of like guys' assholes in between songs while he was doing a gig. The dude was a party animal.
He truly was.
And he was a gentleman, but like he liked to party. He wasn't afraid of getting his hands dirty.
What was that?
He was like a real...
What was that Fact Fiend video about him having that island that was like an entire party?
No, the dude was... He would, when he partied, he went large. Like, yeah. No, I mean, Freddie might be quite a private, quiet person, but no, he knew how to party.
Yeah.
And they were going to make that film. They were going to have those parties be like, this is how it actually was.
It was a good film, but it could have been more.
They decided to cut that out and therefore make Freddie sort of appear as far more sort of bland than he really was, which is a shame. Despite the fact Rami Malek did a really good job of portraying him.
He did, yeah.
They could have let Rami get a bit more of the real Freddie on screen, because I think, as long as they let that film be a bit more adult, then Rami Malek still could have worked as Freddie, but the writing on it on its own, they just cut too much out, and they smashed some stuff together that just didn't make sense. Like that manager that Freddie pals around with, who betrays him and outs him to the public. Yeah. That didn't happen at the same time as the Live Aid. But the film makes you think that is the case, and that Freddie falls out with his manager and quits Queen and goes off into the wilderness. Those things are years apart from each other.
I mean,
the film kind of does it all in 10 minutes.
They do have to condense it into one film.
I know, but that really pissed me off that they did it that way.
I still think it was a personally...
More importantly, does anyone in chat care? I say in chat, it's just me, and there's two people viewing it. Anyone want to talk?
I still think
I feel really lonely.
I still think... I'm right here!
But you're just you. Like, I want people.
She's done with me. She's done with me now. People.
No, I'm kidding. No.
Last week's dinner.
Yeah, but you're also next week's dinner as well. Never forget that, babe.
I love you.
That came out of nowhere. Moving on.
That was pretty hot. Anyway, next queer icon, other than you, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
is Elliot Page.
Elliot Page, we stan.
We absolutely stan Elliot Page. I don't know if any of you have seen his...
So, of course, there's the movies. We all know Super, we know Juno, we know Hard Candy as well. Obviously that was before
TV show Umbrella
it came
Academy.
out. But he's always been a phenomenal actor.
True.
So,
fact.
You know, and I think that will remain the case even now. You know,
people are a little uppity at the moment because
they can't handle change.
Yeah, he's going back to Umbrella Academy where his character was obviously previously female, but he's going back and playing it as a male. So everyone's like,
couldn't they canonically just make that character in Umbrella Academy also trans?
Yeah,
like
we're not
so Elliot comes out, but so does the character.
Yeah,
and they could make it an episode.
I haven't
in
really...
this episode, the female character comes out as trans. You know, other programs have done that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't watch Umbrella Academy. I think I should make that clear, but I've seen a lot of films with Elliot Page in. So.
It's got Nathan from Misfits in it playing like this crazy pansexual dude.
Robert Sheehan.
Yeah.
The Irish dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear he's in it.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, he's cool. So, next person, someone who recently came out, very recently, I think it was only like, a week ago, something like that? Demi Lovato came out as non-binary.
Oh, you see, this is where we have different opinions, because you think that she's a bit problematic. I've done it again. See, when it's recent, right, you occasionally fuck up.
Yeah. Demi Lovato does use...
Don't be hard on yourself, okay? You'll get it right. It'll be fine.
Also, don't be offended when someone corrects you, because it just makes them feel
Yeah,
bad.
don't, because if you're going to be like that with it, then you're clearly not trying.
Yeah, like, if you get offended when someone corrects you, like...
Yeah, so they...
Stop it.
You think they're problematic due to previous actions they took before.
But I understand the reason for those actions.
Always had a pretty tough life, because they were thrust into an industry that does not treat young girls at the time like that well. They don't. It's
they take advantage of children.
You know, I mean, these guys earlier were going on about the P word. Have a look at Disney. That's all I'm saying. They back in the day they had some monsters.
Yeah.
In that company. Who's that guy who really likes feet? Ted Schneider, something. They all know who I'm on about. But no, Demi Lovato. She had some very, very bad things. Had some very bad things happen to them at a very young age. And you know, Demi these days she's not exactly. I'm sorry, I keep doing it. I'm sorry.
And I'm gonna keep correcting.
That's cool. But they're not exactly scared of talking about it anymore. There's documentaries you can find on Netflix that are all like they're not afraid to talk about it. And in that case, I don't think I'm going to go full detail there, but you can only guess the kind of thing she's had to go through. So next time people slag them off because, you know, they had a bit of a drug problem, or there was some stuff that came out in tweet form where she was on about with some crazy... I'm going to stop talking in a minute. But, you know, people have their opinions of them, of Demi. And I think you need to understand in context why Demi did go a bit wild for a while.
Yeah.
And only in that context can you really empathise with it.
But yeah, honestly, as somebody who...
But, I mean, the transition... the coming out on its own should be a good thing. It should be celebrated.
Like, I'll admit, like, even though I have my gripes with this person, I was really happy when I saw them come out as non-binary, because it means they've gotten to a point in their life where they feel comfortable in themselves. And previous to that, with the drug problems, with all the abuse they've suffered, they clearly weren't comfortable in themselves. They were going through a lot of shit. So it was nice to see them come out, and also it's just great for, again, non-binary representation, because people think that, oh, non-binary people, there's like hardly any of you and none of them are celebrities. Like, well, wrong.
Demi Lovato entered the chat.
Because also Sam Smith, by the way, some of y'all really love him as a singer, love them as a singer. I did it just then.
He did a Bond theme not long ago.
Yeah, Sam Smith. Some of y'all really love them as a singer, but they are also non-binary. Many people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So, fun for...
No, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Demi, and I know that a lot of people don't, because, you know, they see them as a wild child,
they
as it
see
were.
it out of
Same
context,
way that they do with, like, the same shit they give to, like, Taylor Swift or Miley Cyrus, because they also, you know, don't take too kindly to the press spreading shit about them for no good reason. And Demi's not a big fan of that either, and I can't blame her. So I've got a lot of respect, because if I had to deal with the amount of pressure that she dealt with, they dealt with, sorry, I would probably go a bit nuts too, and I'd probably want to escape and not talk to the press, and I might even develop a few bad habits. You know, that we're all human at the end of the day. We're not supposed to be superhuman, and it's wrong to put that kind of pressure on somebody who's just trying to navigate an industry that is notoriously abusive.
Okay, next person. You're going to know more about this person than I do, to be honest. Oscar Wilde.
I don't actually know much. I know the name.
I'll get on it.
Oscar Wilde is a playwright, as far as I remember.
Playwright and an author, I believe.
But very, very sassy. Had a famous quote when Oscar turned up at an airport and they asked, "Do you have anything to declare?" Oscar Wilde quite sassily came out with the quip, "Nothing but my genius."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's as gay as it gets.
Just also worth noting, Oscar Wilde was Irish. He was from Dublin, which...
Irish representation.
So good Irish representation there, but that couldn't have been easy.
That's one more off the tick box. We should probably tick that off.
That couldn't have been
Just
easy
joking.
being in Dublin like during the 1800s, because that would have been like quite a homophobic area at the time, especially with all the religious like oppression, shall we say, against gay people. So yeah, I'm just trying to find like a list of his works. Oh yeah, he wrote Dorian Gray. How could I forget that? He wrote The Picture of Dorian Gray,
which could be seen with a gay lens. It could be.
Yeah,
like,
that's queer coded.
There is a lot of queer sort of context with that. Whatever. Everyone ignore me. I'm talking trash.
Queer subcontext is what you're looking for.
That's the one.
Queer coded. Holy shit! His full name.
Subtext is the word.
Yeah, sorry. I said subtext. Yeah, his full name is mad. Oscar Fingal O'Flaherty Wills Wilde. Mad.
It's one of those names. You know.
Mad name. Yeah, he didn't spend all of his time in Ireland. He ended up living in France for a little while. In Paris. He died in Paris, actually. So. Yeah, he wrote Dorian Gray. He wrote Lady Windermere's Fan, The Importance of Being Earnest. Really great works. Recommend reading all of them. Classic literature. And made by a queer person. So support queer people, even if they're dead.
Yeah. By the way, I know that you're all thinking like these people are all white and most of them are men.
We have other people on the list. We promise.
No, don't worry. We've cornered. We've got people from all corners of the world and of all different skin colours, all walks of life. Because we felt that was like a deliberate thing we had to do to represent the community properly.
Give me a sec. I can't seem to find anything on this person actually being queer, so I think you're wrong about this person, so we're going to skip over that. It's just that he was great friends with like gay people, but not like actually
Kenneth
gay.
Williams.
Yeah. I can't see anything like
Okay, chat, right? Some of you were old enough to know Kenneth Williams from the Carry On films. Not gay? Are we? Come on. Blow her out.
I'm not entirely
Blow
sure.
him out of the water.
So
in my book, I mean, I'm sorry, I've always thought Kenneth Williams was gay.
Hang on, let me see.
Very much so. Like
I'm still researching, hang on.
Kenneth Williams was practically a stereotype of gay men back in the day. Same with that guy from Up Pompeii. Frankie Howard, yeah. I don't know him, of course. I mean, I don't know if your brother would, though, because you're quite old. I mean, sorry, quite young. I mean, Miles is more likely to know.
Probably.
But I'm not going to bother asking him because he's a prick. Sorry.
No comment.
Oh, Miles ain't going to watch this.
But yeah, we'll get over that because we're
He'll be too busy figuring out who to fucking beat next.
We're going on to Harvey Milk. You know a lot about Harvey Milk.
He was one of the first high-profile gay senators. who ran for office, was tragically shot by another person. That's where my knowledge ends, really, to be honest. I know he was a very eccentric gay. He was aspiring to do great things in the political world, and he did achieve some of it. Like he obviously there's a lot of people who knew his name by the time.
Yeah.
By the time he died.
It says here.
He kind of walked so that other people could run, really, politically speaking.
Yeah,
Made
it says
some
here
Congress.
first openly gay elected official in Californian history.
Yep.
And he was assassinated in 1978.
Yep. Gunshot to the head.
But apparently before 1972 he was a Republican, but then post 1972 he identified as a Democrat. So man switched.
People are complex, you know. I it's wrong to think that every queer person has like a halo above their head and they're all perfect, because just like you straight people, we're not, you know. I mean, I back in the day would have, if I was in America, my political leaning was pretty much conservative in between the years of like 2014 to like 2017, early 2017, and now I'm the complete opposite. I even make fun of like the Democrats these days. I'm even
we're too left for the Democrats.
I'm about as far left as it can get, really, without going full on tanky. But I don't see those as leftists anyway, to be honest. I see them as authoritarians under a different name.
Leftists in name only. But yeah, apparently he was also back in 2009.
Leno.
Leno.
Leftists in name only.
Yeah, leftists in name only. Yeah. Apparently back in 2009 he was awarded posthumously, obviously, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's pretty cool. 2009, that would have been Obama years, right? No. Yeah, Obama. Yeah, that would have been the Obama years, yeah. So that makes sense.
Possibly.
That makes a lot of sense. Alright, next person. Next person we got is an ally, because even though it's quite a big
Respect allies.
It's quite a big subject of debate in the community. Whilst I don't think they should have a flag or be part of the community, we do have to also bear in mind how important they are for us. Because there are people on the inside, basically. We need them. But, yeah, so we've got...
I don't know, I don't like to view them that way, because it makes us sound like we're reducing them just to, like, tools, you know, or objects to be used. No, I reckon, you know, it's a community, you know. You fight for them, they fight for you, everyone fights. And we all live to stand another day.
But yeah, so
So I think actually allies should be included into the community. Not so much that I give them their own acronym thingy. I wouldn't put them in like...
Yeah, reminder for
honestly,
people. The A does not stand for ally, it was for asexual,
asexual
and aromantic.
Yeah. But I mean, I would definitely say that they are in the community and they should be represented. But I mean,
again, see, big topic of debate. You and I, we disagree.
Yeah, we disagree. I don't know. I know a lot of allies as friends, and they're lovely people. So I reckon they should be given the respect that they deserve.
I don't disagree. But there is a part of me that's like, why are you getting so much recognition for doing the bare minimum?
Well, a lot of the allies I know don't do the bare minimum.
No, some.
In fact, a lot of the allies that I'm friends with, they do far more for the LGBTQIA community than even I do. Like they're far bigger activists. They actually go to the bloody protests and stuff. I just sit at home and whinge on Twitter.
But yeah, so the ally in question here is obviously the Queen herself, Miss Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton, of course. The COVID kicker herself.
Yep, an absolute queen. Also is giving...
Do you remember that? When she donated...
Yeah, she donated so much money to getting the vaccine.
Group, and then they actually made a vaccine, like, miraculously, and everyone was like, oh... Yeah. Everyone forgot that Dolly Parton did that.
You know, we stand Dolly Parton. Also, really, again, big LGBTQ advocate. Great advocate as well for, like, impoverished communities. Like,
Plus, she came out of a notoriously homophobic... industry
scene,
with the country music.
The country scene is quite homophobic.
So she had her career on the line when she came out as like pro-gay. She didn't give a fuck though. I mean, it's Dolly Parton. Need we say more? You know.
Also, from a slightly like what's the word?
That's how you can tell that they're real allies when their career is on the line, but they don't give a fuck. They'd rather tell the truth.
Yeah. from a slightly more shallow point of view, she's also gorgeous. Like, we have to.
Yeah, she's definitely aged well.
Yeah, we have to appreciate the fact that she's beautiful. She's a beautiful person, both inside and out.
Yeah, heart of gold.
True. Okay, next person. Back to another queer. Elton John.
Oh,
I forget. Is he knighted on? Is he Sir Elton John?
I love him.
He is.
I love him. And I know he's like a bitchy white guy, you know, who's a bit rich beyond his years. He's a very sassy, bitchy dude. But I kind of love him. You know, he's kind of like, he's an institution.
He is actually knighted as well. So we've got another Ian McKellen type. He is Sir Elton John. He is Sir Elton John.
And I like his music too. I don't know. It's just. It's Elton John. You can't really deny him, can you?
No, of course not.
He just finds his way of forcing his way into wherever he wants to be, and you have to admire him for that.
No, completely agree.
Because as controversial as he is.
Yeah. Okay, next person. We've got a trans man, Charles Bono.
Yep.
We stand
one of the most high-profile trans men in the Western world.
Excellent.
I know a lot of people will go, hey, what about, what's his name?
Dude, what's his name? Who?
Never mind.
But yeah, he's a great actor. Honestly,
the name slit hits me, but I don't care. He's not bad anyway.
Buck Angel.
That's him. That's the fucker.
Yeah, Buck Angel is a trans medicalist and a pick-me. We don't like him. He does not represent all of the queer people.
And he outed the Wachowski sisters. So
he did, yeah. That was really fucked up.
Fuck him forever for that.
Yeah, that was really fucked up. But yeah, so next person, another trans actor, but trans woman this time, Laverne Cox, who a lot of y'all will know.
I've never seen Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, it's great though.
No, Laverne Cox was another very big deal at the same time as like Laura Jane Grace and Caitlyn Jenner. But again, Laverne Cox was more on the, like, we could actually not feel embarrassed to have her as a role model.
Oh yeah, no.
Unlike with Caitlyn fucking Jenner. So, you know.
No, Laverne Cox
and Laura Jane Grace. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I've never seen Orange is the New Black, but like, the show gets good reviews, and it must be for a reason. She must be a decent actress. And I've seen pictures of her. She is quite beautiful.
She's pretty. Yeah, she's really nice.
Yeah. You definitely.
I remember.
Be able to tell.
I think it was an interview she did with Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen got like really fucking weird about like asking about surgeries and shit, and she was like, "Why is that any of your business?" I'm like, "Yes,
based.
Fucking Stan. Like, it's none of your business, Ellen."
Sorry, watching Black Panther.
Yeah, we watched Black Panther.
There's a lot of.
Yeah. Okay. Next person on the list, we've got Billy Porter, who is an openly.
I'm not being racist. That's what they do.
Yeah, it is what they do.
The tribe is.
Yeah. Next person on the list, we've got Billy Porter.
You know Billy.
Little bit more obscure. For those of you who have Netflix, he's in Pose. He was also in American Horror Story. He's somebody who you'll frequently see at red carpets wearing quote unquote women's clothes, but obviously he, like us, is in the boat of clothing has no gender. It does not. But yeah, he's openly gay. He's amazing. He's funny. He's also absolutely fabulous and gorgeous.
I saw a picture. The fucking earrings.
Yeah, great. Again, he's absolutely fabulous. He's gorgeous.
I've never seen someone do earrings like that.
Yeah.
It had to come from a gay man. It just had to.
No, he's fantastic. He honestly, the confidence he has, like, I wish I had even like a fraction of that. Like, he's amazing. Okay, who have we got next? Mark Takano. Oh yeah, I remember we wrote him down because he was
Again, I don't know this one either. All I do know is he's an American Japanese serviceman. Was it the serviceman?
No, he's a politician.
Okay.
He was the first openly gay person of Asian descent in Congress in America.
Pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah, massive deal. He I believe he is mixed, like you said. He's like Asian American.
Well, the surname kind of gives it away, but yeah.
Yeah.
American Japanese.
But yeah, he's
Hafu.
He's fantastic. He is another one of those people who used to be a Republican and then switched. But I mean, he's been
Well, he came from Japan. Well, his ancestry did anyway.
Yeah. So they're quite conservative.
Japan is a very, very like conservative country. You know, so to him it would have just been normal to be like.
Also, he low key flexes with his education a bit because he did go to Harvard, so bit of a flex. Harvard, Ivy League.
Okay.
One of the top unis. It's awesome.
I did college.
Okay, another one. Another trans person now. Gina Rosero, who is a Filipino model and a huge trans advocate. I think she actually she started like a trans organization that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, but she's great. Let me just find it.
Oh shit. We've broken the 3-hour mark.
Gender Proud, that's what it's...
probably put up with another 20 minutes, but after that I'm kind of done. Gender
Proud is what it's called. So yeah, she's from Manila in the Philippines, but she is an American model, and yeah, she's transgender, and another one, she's absolutely beautiful. Well, most of these people on this list are beautiful, to be honest, to be fair.
Well, I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? So
true.
You know, everyone's trash is another person's treasure.
Hang on, I'm just getting up the
Someone
bit.
out there would find me beautiful.
I find you beautiful.
Imagine that.
Sad sack.
It's a scary fact.
I think you're beautiful.
We live in a society.
Anyway, next person is Carmen Carrera, who was initially a drag queen that featured on RuPaul's Drag Race.
You gotta work.
But then subsequently came out as a transgender woman. So, yeah, I think that's actually happened a couple times on Drag Race. There have been a few people who've gone on.
It doesn't surprise me, you know.
Gia Gunn is another one who's a trans woman.
If you're a person who aspires to be a drag queen, there must be somewhere inside you that likes being a woman. Maybe not all the time, but for some of them, it probably becomes that way. Because imagine it, you know, you get to dress as a woman sometimes, and some of them I imagine would be like, oh, I have more fun as a woman. I hate going back to being a guy after my job finishes. So they go like, fuck it, I'm just going to be a woman full time. And that's probably how it begins. And then, you know, after a while they'll be like, okay, it's not a job anymore. This is who I am now.
Yeah. Okay, so next person on the list is someone you can talk about because you stand them way hard. Selena Quintanilla. Yeah, Selena Quintanilla.
Now, come on. Yeah, there's two people watching. I really hope... Is it the Selena fans? Are you guys the Selena fans?
Probably not.
Please be the Selena fans.
They probably think you mean Selena Gomez.
No, I mean, Selena Gomez is alright too. She's cool. But Selena Quintanilla is a American Latinx. Yeah, well... you need to help me here, actually. I've got no idea where she was born. I know she was Latino, but either way, she was a singer-songwriter who had a promising career, and she was trying to break Latino music. There's a specific style of Latino music that I can't remember. Tejano music. She was trying to break that into the American mainstream, and surprise, surprise, she was the first one to actually do it, and it worked. Because now she's got a massive legacy. Unfortunately, she was killed by one of her, what was thought to be one of her best friends, and somebody who was like a sort of manager, like, you know, one of the people that follow her around in her career and help her out with stuff. But unfortunately, the person who killed her was a woman who became a little bit too possessive and went nuts, and basically just became a giant stalker. So it's a shame. But Selena is still remembered to this day as being one of the Latino community's biggest stars. Because, like I say with a lot of other icons here, she walked.
Her the queen of Tejano music.
She walked so that others could run. So you could say that there's a reason people mistake her for Selena Gomez, and that's because they share more than the same name. You know, Selena Gomez probably wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for people like Selena Quintanilla.
True.
Same with a lot of other Latino performers, like Jennifer Lopez or Give me a modern one. I don't know pop music these days.
Yeah, I mean,
but there's a lot of Latino music today that America really only cares about because Selena came out with it and went, hey, here's the alternative.
Just saying, if it wasn't for Selena, you wouldn't have Despacito.
Yeah, Despacito is a prime example. I can't imagine that song being given the kind of acceptance that it's been given without that barrier being broken years beforehand. Plus, Selena, she was a very kind woman. She had a heart of gold. She cared a lot about, particularly during the AIDS crisis of the 80s. She was involved in an organisation, didn't she, that she donated to that helped with the victims. She also cared a lot about queer youth that were that would get involved with drugs and alcohol and stuff, and she would try her best to steer them away from that path so that they could have a better life. Not just queer people, but those included. I imagine she wouldn't have turned anyone away. And just naturally these days, the queer community is sort of latched onto her. So even if it was just those things.
Sorry,
even if she's not done as much for the gay community as other people on this list that we've written, it doesn't really matter because she's got a legacy with the queer community that she's kind of been chosen by the queer community. It just kind of has happened, and today, even now, the queer community fiercely defend Selena Quintanilla. And it's because I think her music holds something special that only the queer community can relate to, because she sings about love in a way that has no barrier to it. If you listen to the song "I Could Fall in Love with You," it's a song about how you can fall in love with anybody, at all. No, really?
Noisy neighbours.
Sorry, the neighbours are being a bit... but yeah. And that's a prime example of the fact her music was inclusive and she was inclusive as a person, and that kind of thing usually the queer community are very loyal to. So, Selena Quintanilla, very beautiful.
I think we're going to have to fly through the next few because it is getting quite late now. So we've got Ricky Martin, again, another Latino. Y'all will know Livin' La Vida Loca.
You could say the male Selena Quintanilla.
True. Actually gay, not an ally, so that's cool. What did I do?
You fucked it right off.
I literally, I fucked it up. Oh, there we go, it's back. Sorry, I basically, just exited my app for a hot sec, that was bad. So yeah, y'all know Ricky Martin. If you pretend like you don't.
Living a Vida Loca.
Yeah, everybody knows Living La Vida Loca, and if you don't, you're a liar.
If you've seen, is it Shrek 1 or 2, one of them?
The second one.
Yeah, Shrek 2. Also, I Need a Hero was in great.
The cover of that song is better than the original, and I stand by that.
I really like Bonnie Tyler, actually.
No,
I'm a big fan of her music.
I love the original as well, but the cover is...
She got really pissed off the other night because I do follow her, and because we had that eclipse recently, and people were sending her loads of tweets about oh, it's a total eclipse of the heart, and she was like, oh, very funny, haha, I did that song that one time. And yeah, Bonnie Tyler's quite sassy, I just love the matter of fact. She just started fucking tweeting the music video at people. They were total eclipse of the heart, and she was like, there's the video, now fuck off. Yeah.
Okay, so next person, David Bowie.
David Bowie, obviously Bowie, gay icon. Bowie had massive balls, to the point where once he was on holiday in America doing an album, and in the middle of Texas, bright summer's day, just walking around in a dress. There's one notorious story where he got threatened by some redneck type dude. And Bowie was just looked him square in the face and was like, well, you can shoot me if you want, but I'll turn into a butterfly and fly away. It was something like that. It was Bowie, it's the kind of thing Bowie would say.
Yeah.
Because he always had a funny way of wording things that was quite whimsical. But also, yeah, he just always had the image. He was like the aesthetic king of being queer, particularly in Britain. because at the time when he came out, it was like quite. The world was very well, Britain was anyway. It was quite sort of what's the word? Restrictive in what it would allow. And Bowie just came right out there, you know, as a like fucking alien dude. You know, I'm an alien called Ziggy Stardust. I'm in space, you know.
Yeah.
I'm Bowie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one is a bit more of an obscure one. A man called Patricio Manuel. Patricio Manuel. He was the first transgender boxer in history to win a United States professional fight. He's a trans man, so he initially was fighting as a woman against women, but after transitioning, he started competing against men, obviously, and he's actually beaten out a ton of cis dudes. So, we stand.
Yeah, so much for that upper advantage, eh?
Yeah, that advantage that apparently cis men have, like biological men. Yeah, it doesn't exist. It's bollocks. Next, we're going to go on to Billy Joe Armstrong. Y'all will probably know him as the singer of Green Day. Yeah. Most people actually don't know that he's queer. And again, the worst part is, he's yet another bisexual who people think is straight.
So I assume he's married to a woman.
Yep.
So that automatically makes him not bi now.
He is yet another bisexual who people constantly straight wash. It's
just because it appears to look straight from where your viewpoint doesn't mean it is.
Yeah, like, just stop it. He is a bisexual man. He has said this in interviews since 1995. Okay, like, stop it.
Interesting enough, is there any songs that confirm this, or is this songs? Because I don't think Green Day haven't got a lot of love songs. Really,
no, they don't. Really.
Their songs are usually about like either politics or usually like these days they're like writing a story, don't they? About like whatever the fucking 21st century breakdown was about.
Give me a sec. Honestly, I still can't get over the fact that he's 49. He does not look.
He's been around a while.
He does not look 49. He's older than my mum.
He might not look it, but I could believe it. He's been around years. Like,
no, I still refuse.
I was pretty much a tiny child when American Idiot came out.
No, I still refuse to believe it.
And that feels like it was yesterday. So.
He's been in Green Day since 1987. What the fuck?
Yeah, they started ages back.
I know. It just makes me feel so disorientated how old they actually are. It's messed up. Anyway, who haven't we said yet?
They were notoriously kicked out of because the punks that they ran with at the time, they were incredibly like staunch, like, oh, we've got to be punk, you know, you can't not be punk. If you're not punk, then get the fuck out, kind of gatekeepy lot, you know. Yeah. You're proper like the tastemakers of the punks, you know, the punks that weren't punks is what I'm trying to say. And because Green Day were a bit more melodic and catchy and poppy, they were frowned upon by the rest of the punks. And Green Day, being true punks, they said, well, fuck you then, we'll go and
Isn't he what they called a blue-collar punk, something like that? Like,
yeah, no, Billy Joe is punk as it gets. Because he doesn't give a fuck what no one else thinks. Like, oh, you think I'm not punk enough? Fuck you then.
I'm not Justin Bieber, you motherfucker. Yeah. Smashes a guitar.
Well, that was because he was.
I know.
He was on a bit of a substance binge.
Yeah.
He was having a crazy year.
Yeah, to be fair. But no, we still stand him, and stop erasing his bisexuality. It's annoying. Generally, stop erasing bisexuality. It's no fun. Okay, we're down to the last two. We're gonna go, well, technically the last three, because this one is two people. The Wachowski sisters, who we briefly mentioned before.
Made The Matrix. Yeah. They made Cloud Atlas.
Yeah.
They made V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
Well, they made the adaptation of V for Vendetta.
All very excellent films, and to all of you, like, right-wing chuds who constantly use the term red pilling.
Yeah. Take the real red pill.
Yeah, like, The Matrix is a trans allegory, whether you like it or not. Deal with it.
And to find out why, we're not going to post sources. You're just going to have to
just watch the goddamn film and open your brain.
Yeah.
Like,
there's tons of YouTubers that have done videos about how the subtext works. It's not just somebody like grasping onto straws. There's quite a lot. So much. To the
also,
point,
they've admitted it themselves.
The creators have sat there and told you to your face that these are the bits that we put in secretly, because as you know, the Hays Code, even in the 90s, the Hays Code still kind of hovered. You know, that you couldn't just explicitly make shit gay. Not if you wanted things to be like a big budget box office hit or whatever. Only like the underground movies were able to get away with like explicit, like gay subject matter. And usually there was that trope of like Bury Your Gays, where all the gays would have a terrible role where they'd just get killed and they never had any fun. Yeah. The Matrix was a way of like, it was like subtext. It was perfectly well hidden enough so that straight people could watch it and not see any of that. They could see it as like a god metaphor, because Neo he basically becomes a god at the end of that film. So a lot of straight people who've never heard about the gay angle that you could take with it think that it's symbology to do with religion, which can that's the thing about the Matrix. You can view it in a number of ways. It's not just purely a queer experience. It is for us because that's the way we choose to view it, but for other people it could be a simple dumb action film, or it could be a film about like religious iconography. But that's the beautiful thing about the Matrix. The Wachowski sisters had this wonderful way of melding in like lots of stuff that you wouldn't catch if you weren't in the know. But yeah, so they're great directors. It's just a shame that they didn't get to come out on their own terms, thanks to a person we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, a pretty disgusting person. So,
yeah.
Just a reminder.
But they're happier now and they've got like a career going. So
just a reminder: outing people is not only
in fact,
just.
We've got the Matrix 4 coming soon, so.
Just a reminder that outing people is not just violently disrespectful. Dangerous. It can be fucking dangerous. Like, you could literally be putting people like at risk of being killed. Like, don't do it.
Especially if they live in a country that is not so forgiving as America.
Like, just don't do it. It's disgusting. Don't out people. Don't dead name people. Stop it. Anyway, and the final person, an ally, Judy Garland.
Judy Garland, obviously, every gay person over the age of 30 has at some point said, "I'm a friend of Judy's." And Judy, she was always a very kind lady. Always had nice stuff to say. Wizard of Oz is a gay movie.
It truly is.
It's like, it's got rainbows all over it, for crying out loud. What do you have to say about Judy Garland?
I kind of just want to talk about her activism, because that's the bit where I like it the most. Give me a sec.
That's the bit that I don't really know about. I know that she did some stuff. I've got a book somewhere with lots of stuff in it. I know that she was very vocally outspoken about her support of the gay community way back, back when it wasn't really cool to do so.
Okay, so award-winning actress, yes, we know. Apparently, she was born Frances Ethel Gum. So Judy Garland was just like a stage name, basically. I didn't actually know that, to be fair. She, very, strangely enough, died June 22nd, 1969, literally 6 days before the Stonewall Riots. That's fucking weird. Give me a sec, I'm just trying to find a bit on activism and philanthropy. Because this is the last person tonight, and then that's it, we're going.
Yeah, we'll be going in the next 10 minutes, so
yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed the stream. But we'll end this up and then say our goodbyes. Once again, sorry that we couldn't show you the documentary.
Yeah, it does suck a bit, but
we will, in the meantime, between the next stream, play around with computers and see if we can get stream some reactions to something else maybe, and see if that works.
Hang on. Yeah, it's just pretty basic stuff that she was openly way in support of the community and trying to, decriminalize it in places, in America where, she was friends with gay people, which again, where the thing, I'm a friend of Judy comes from. So, but yeah, we stand. It's a shame that she died of a really messed up way. She had an overdose. That's really sad. But yeah, we stand Judy, and if somebody ever tells you they're a friend of Judy, or asks you. If
well, I mean, that's because back in the day, you know, people weren't so accepted.
Code.
So that was like a coded way. Because homosexuals, like when they were going out on the cruise to like, you know, pick up, you know, when they were going hunting for cock. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They would you couldn't just walk up to anyone and go, "Hey, I'm gay. Do you want to do some stuff?" Because that person could be an undercover policeman and they could arrest you, or they could run to the police and then get you arrested.
Yeah.
You know, rumours could spread, you know. So they'd have like a code way of like, oh, I'm a friend of Judy's. And then that person would be like, I am also a friend of Judy's. Do you want to go and suck my dick? and then they'd go and find a toilet somewhere, because everyone thinks that, you know, the gays are disgusting, hanging around toilets. Look at them with their peepholes. And it's like, you've got to think about it though, because like, that's all that we would. That's all society would give them back in the day. They couldn't be out in the open, and I'm not saying they would be sucking dicks in the open. I'm not saying that at all. They couldn't openly be gay in the privacy of their own homes, or like the same way that straight people practice their sexualities. Gay people could not do it in the same way, which meant that they were reduced to nothing but finding like a secret place somewhere that was coded only for gay people so they could meet up. And toilets became that, because that's a place where all gay people would eventually need to go at some point. So some gay men would hang around near a toilet where they knew a lot of men would be passing through, and they'd be like, I'm a friend of Judy's. And they would just kind of go through tons of men, and then as soon as they got a response from one of them that was like, oh, I'm a friend of Judy's, hooray, I got a bit of cock today, nice. And that's the thing. It sounds disgusting, and it sounds weird by today's standards, but that's only because society would not give them the freedom to just do that the same way that straight people do, by courting, by going out there and taking their boyfriends out to dinner, you know, and doing all the cute stuff. They couldn't do that because they'd have shit said about them. They'd have the police raiding their places, you know, and any bars that you could go to practice being gay, they'd be raided by the police, you know, and it got that bad that the police would start patrolling the toilets, because that stigma started forming that gay people were a bunch of disgusting people that would hang out at toilets, and it's because of the straight people that they had to do that. They didn't. I mean, no gay person I've ever talked to has ever told me that sounds like a fun idea.
Yeah.
You know, because it was done under deep secrecy, and that's why you don't see that happening much these days.
Because we don't have to.
Because they don't have to anymore. Because nowadays you can go on Grindr or pretty much any dating website these days is fine with gay and
they have
other
like
people.
They have like a
that's how we met.
Interested in we met.
Yeah. So you know so that's why these things tend to trend that way. It's just, you know, what can you do if you've got a society that hates you? You can only practice in secret, and that's how these things happen.
Sweet.
I don't know how we got onto that, but that's just something I thought.
Because we were talking about Judy Garland and secret gay code words, and
yeah, well, there you go. And that wasn't the only gay code. The gay people back then had their own language. It was given its own name.
Yeah. It was quite prominent.
It began with a P, yeah, pommy something.
It was quite prominent in the UK. Let me just find the name and then we'll wrap up, because it is actually really interesting.
But that would be like Cockney slang, but for gay people, you know, so that they could communicate with each other without any fear of being sort of found out and persecuted. Polari, yeah.
It was a thing in Britain, like basically an entire language like coded for being gay. So.
And it was used the same way that Cockney slang would be used by gangsters to evade the police. The gay people would use it to evade the authorities, and you know, homophobes, basically people that would pose a threat to them. So yeah, I'm a friend of Judy's, or lesbians had this thing about like, my shoes are on the flatter foot, or something like that. I can't remember the exact quote, but yeah, everyone had their own words and sayings for things. And that also creeped into the movies, because while we had the Hays Code pretty much for decades, from like the 40s right up to like the 90s, which then became Section 28, I think. Section 8?
Section 8.
Yeah. Whatever. That kind of creeped into schools and into the popular culture as well, so but a lot of that terminology would find its way into movies, because straight people are fucking idiots and they don't know to see it when it happens. So we can always get our way around them.
Yeah.
You know, that's true with anything though. You make it illegal and it's going to go underground and it's going to happen anyway. The same things happen with the drugs. You know, with the drug war. You make it illegal, and all that's going to happen is you're going to get some cartel that'll form, and then they'll find ways around the laws that we make. However rough we make the laws, however strict we are, it'll still happen. Same with homosexuality, same with alcohol. They tried to ban alcohol in the 20s, as we know, and that didn't go too well. People were hiding it in cribs with their babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Prohibition.
I mean, those are just three things that I'm not morally against. There are crimes that I would say are bad, and we probably shouldn't do them.
Of course.
But I mean, we should end the drug war, particularly for cannabis. Cannabis has never been dangerous. It's never been proven to kill anybody, and it does more harm illegalizing it than it does by legalizing it, because you put it in the hands of horrible people that will inflict pain onto already impoverished communities. And it's not just cannabis; it's like cocaine, heroin, and stuff. You know. If you legalise it, then you don't have to go and meet some dodgy dude in a car park. You can just go to your corner shop and pay a bit of tax, pay it to the NHS. You know, do your bit for the council around you. You know, so that they can afford like government programs and stuff with the tax that you pay over the price, and then you can get your weed. No one has to get hurt. Done. But at the moment, the way things stand, the government's too afraid to do anything about it. So what they'll do is they'll just have like my neighbour, you know, just handing out with dodgy people in car parks, you know, basically. That's kind of how that works. By the way, I should mention I don't actually smoke it. I'm kind of teetotal, but I'm not against other people smoking it. So, but yeah.
That about wraps it up then. It's been like, what, 3.5 hours?
Yep. So for the two people who've stuck around, I owe a massive amount of gratitude to you guys. The streams will get better as time goes on. We will figure out how to involve like other media other than just pretty pictures in the stream. The next stream I want to do is probably my entire Power Rangers collection, all the toys.
Yes. You can probably do that next weekend.
And I'm thinking, could we just turn the webcam on for that one, provided it's not pointed at us? I reckon we could probably get away with it.
Yeah, why not?
You know, because then I can just put them all on a shelf, and then I can use my hands and I go, this is what this does, and you know, for people that are into that, I don't know how many people will be. I mean, we just kind of throw whatever out there and see who bites it. Really,
we do whatever we want because we can.
There's a Portal reference there. Aperture science. We do what we want because we can.
Are you impressed?
No. So now, tonight, we're finishing by watching Alien Autopsy, that famous film with Anton Decken. I don't know if that film got anywhere, like, in America, but it was in the UK. Everyone knew about it.
Big in the UK.
Everyone knows Alien Autopsy. I watched it actually. I don't know if John's watching. First time I saw it was when I was in that care home in the Forest of Dean, and that was one of the movies that someone just brought in one day and we watched, and I'll still remember the scene. There's one particular scene where they're trying to film the autopsy thing with the dummies and stuff. And the Ants, the character who plays Ant, I think they're just playing themselves. But Ant's or Dec's mum or Nan or whatever, the old lady walks in. Anyone would like some biscuits? And they're fucking right in the way. Like, it cracks me up every time. Because they're in the middle of a fucking supposed real alien autopsy.
Yeah.
Fucking Nan walks in with a cup of tea, like based, you know. But yeah.
All right. That's what we're doing this evening, and we're gonna go because...
Should I just cut her off mid-sentence?
Do not! That's rude.
Uh-oh.
Don't you dare! You'd also have to end it in OBS as well, say.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so thank you for listening to our 3.5 hours of mostly gay stuff, but some other random shit, as per usual. I'm gonna lie on the floor now because I'm boiling hot and I need to cool down, so bye!
Good night, everybody.